Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Anime Talk Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another... Oh shit, no, I did it again. I've been streaming too much. Fuck it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Anime Talk Show, where we're keeping all that in. I'm Dion.
And I'm Chris.
And I've been streaming far too much because I keep going to say Completion Series live stream. But yes, okay.
Twitch.tv/Blunt Lemons, folks. Go there. It's a riot of a time.
It is. We got a lot of followers recently. We're getting somewhere. Anyway, not the time for a plug. Yes, welcome to the Anime Talk Show. What we do here on this show is we have a set number of anime to watch each week. We watch a set number of episodes of those anime. Specifically, at the moment, we are currently covering 2 episodes of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun, 2 episodes of Darwin's Game, 2 episodes of No Good's Life, and 1 episode per week of ReZero, the director's cut, which is also technically 2 episodes rolled into 1 because it's the director's cut. So we watch those shows, we come back here. I usually go through a plot synopsis, so this is all spoilers, so this is a spoiler warning now. If you don't want spoilers for these shows, do not watch. I usually go through a plot synopsis as we go. Chris will interject with his thoughts, and then I'll usually give my thoughts back as well. And that's basically it. We used to call this the review show, but now we just call it a talk show because we don't really give it a score or anything. We're just like, hey, here's the show, here's what happened, here's what we thought about it. It's just nice to talk to people about anime. So,
and when we did try to give things scores, it just confused everyone. So,
I mean, we never even really tried to give it proper scores. We were just like, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's technically always been the talk show. It's just for some reason I used to call it the review show. So now it's just like, we're embracing it. This is just our thoughts spur of the moment. But yeah, okay. So yeah, if you have anything, this is long form, so if you have anything to do, I need to try and remember to say this every week, but the way the show currently is at the moment, if you have anything like chores or a long drive, or if you're currently at work or something, now's the perfect time to put us on, because this usually takes about 2 hours. The longest we've had so far is 2.5 hours. But hopefully, that was due to technical difficulty, so hopefully we should only be at the 2 hour mark this week. Depends how sidetracked we get when it comes to certain shows.
We'll cross our fingers on the no technical difficulties front as well, because my PC may currently be suffering an aneurysm. So,
yes, last time it was my Audacity fucking with Discord. Now I've swapped over to Adobe Audition, and that seems to have fixed that problem. But now, as we found out about half an hour ago, Chris's PC is just apparently dying.
It's either a Windows update or handbraking, but something could have killed my PC. It's a whodunit. It's the greatest murder mystery ever told. I'll commit it to anime form one day. I'll sell it to the Japanese companies. Who killed Chris's PC? We'll have a whole quirky cast of characters.
To be fair, it's not a murder mystery yet. We're currently trying to prevent your PC's murder.
It's true. It's a detective mystery. It's a thriller. Somebody's after my PC. Who is it? Find out in our hard-boiled detective.
Before it's too late.
A hard-boiled detective will hunt down the killer of this PC.
That detective being Krishna, because the rest of us can't help him. Right, okay, so yeah, with that intro spiel out of the way, the first show we will be covering is, well, we cover the shows in order that I said earlier anyway, but the first episodes for this week is episodes 9 and 10 of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. And as always, I can't quite remember what happened, so hence why I am going to refer to my notes to read through the plot synopsis.
I also can't remember what happened, because I watched these at 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday, from our perspective. Wow. So, with prompting, my brain will remember. I will get there.
I watched these about 2 days ago, so I'm slightly fresher on it, but not by much. So, we open with Yashiro being approached by the boy who was helping Sakura, the green-haired girl, and eventually introduces himself as Hugo Natsuhiko. And after luring Yashiro away from Tsukasa... After luring Yashiro away... I need to fucking learn how to grammar properly. Tsukasa ambushes her, Hanako's twin, with water and turns her into a fish, and shortly after, she faints. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I was briefly worried that she was... Obviously, I knew they weren't going to do it, but I was kind of like, is she dead? I feel like if you frighten a fish, it dies.
At one point, it looked like evil Hanako, you literally just said his name, but I forgot it. It looked like he was going to eat her. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to get dark. What happens when a spirit eats a fish?
I think, hopefully, he was just doing it to scare her, and he wasn't actually going to do it. But no, yeah, he pretends to go to eat her, which causes her to faint. And then, actually, that's a point. Like, what would happen? Like, would she? It's presumably wet inside your body, so I assume she would stay the fish, or would she turn back to a human? Would he explode?
I don't know. He's a ghost. So, like, what happens when he eats something? Period. Hanako was eating donuts at one point.
Very true, or at least he was going to. But okay, yeah, she wakes up to change of clothes, which I'm curious how that went. But moving on.
Yeah, someone stripped her down. I'm all fingers point to that high schooler.
I'm just going to assume that because Hanako magically changes her back into a school uniform, that evil Hanako changed her into those clothes. Otherwise, I don't want to think about it.
You don't want to think about this middle schooler possibly being stripped naked by some pervy ghosts.
High schooler.
I thought she... Oh, no, she's first year of high school. Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah. Right, yeah, no, yeah, she was in... Yeah, no, I understand, I remember. I've got there.
I still don't want to think about it, but high schooler.
What difference does half a year make? Not much when it comes to child predatory laws, but anyway.
Especially in Japan. She makes her change clothes in what she assumes is a boundary, and she is properly introduced to Sakura, the green-haired girl, who informs her that she's actually a third year who formed a bond with Tsukasa, just like Yashiro has to Hanako, which actually surprised me, because I'm not gonna lie, I thought that Sakura was a spirit.
Yeah, I also assumed... Didn't she, like, disappear, like, a couple of episodes ago? Like, when in the library episode? I was like... I assumed she was, like, the renegade wonder that they're after.
That's what I assumed, but does that mean... because... Is evil Hanako the renegade wonder, then? Does he count as the same wonder as our Hanako, or is he like count as his own? I don't know.
There's always wiggle room for them to reveal something about her, because they did say at one point anyone you know could be a ghost. So I guess she could be the mastermind. Something in my mind doesn't quite fit together about her. Like she's like,
being a regular high school student,
being a regular high school student, but also at the same time having to do what the ghost says. When it seems like she's in control of the ghost a lot of the time to me. It seemed like she was the one masterminding instead of Tsukasa. Is that his name?
Yeah.
But as it turns out in this conversation, in this whole scene, we learn that he's the one masterminding everything. But, I don't know, something about that just doesn't quite gel.
I don't know, I feel like she is still the mastermind. It's just that, like she said, because she does specifically say, and Yashiro confirms this, that because of their bond, they have to do what the apparition tells them to do. Yashiro does it for Hanako, she does it for Tsukasa. But I feel like she's still the mastermind. It's just on occasion when he says for her to do something, she's like, shit, well, I gotta do it. Because as Chris said, there's still wiggle room, so we're not really sure yet. But the show's definitely given us the impression that she's behind stuff, not Tsukasa.
He seems like way more of a minion to me than the mastermind of the whole operation.
Because, I mean, hell, she was built up before we even knew evil Tsukasa existed. We've seen her several times before. So, but no, yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see on that. There's 2 episodes left, so I assume the reveal's coming soon. Because I feel like this is a 1-season show, which will sadden me, because it's a damn good show. I've been really enjoying it.
I mean, even if it isn't, I'll be more than happy to watch another season of this one day. But
oh, most definitely. We'll need to look that up once it's over, depending on if the ending feels final or not. But yeah, okay, so they get introduced, despite Yashiro being Yashiro here, despite knowing she has to keep up her guard around them, because, you know, she was kind of kidnapped. She ends up just having a nice little regular girl talk with Sakura, which I did find quite funny, but at the same time, I was having the same reaction as Yashiro. I was just like, damn it, Yashiro, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was quite funny. Well, she even knows they're villains, but that's our Yashiro, apparently.
But no, to be fair, it was nice just seeing her have like a conversation with Sakura, being like, Hanako's a pain, isn't he? Just having her have someone to relate to with regards to literally what she's going through, just on the other side of it. But yes, shortly after Tsukasa... Oh wait, no, hang on, did I miss a bit there? During which she learns that Tsukasa is Hanako's younger twin brother, so confirmed now, and we now know 100% their relation, assuming that Tsukasa wasn't lying. But True. For now, I'm going to say he wasn't.
It seems like that's the way it is.
He always seems very happy to announce it anyway, so I don't know, I don't picture him being a liar. He seems very blunt about what he wants. No pun intended. But yes, shortly after, Tsukasa gives Sakura a kind of creepy / ominous look, and so Sakura, unable to defy his orders, has Yashiro restrained, and Natsuhiko, which I was confused about, and locks them in the room at what I assumed was going to be drowning. But no, I feel like drowning would have been much more effective if you wanted them dead.
Not if you want to kill a lady you can change into a fish.
True. Never mind. Yeah, okay, drowning wouldn't have worked.
Drowning definitely wouldn't have worked on her. If you want to kill the other guy, yeah, I'll drown him.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't believe I completely forgot about that. We were just talking about it as well. Okay, it makes sense. So what actually happens, because the room does fill with like a water-like substance, when we cut back to her, they appear to be in another boundary, at least that's what we assume, and after a little while, little Yosei-san comes along carrying a radio, which has our Hanako speaking through it.
So at this point I was wondering, did Hanako know... I mean, maybe he just got an alert when she ended up in wherever she ends up, but I was like, did he know she was in trouble and just didn't do anything, or... Like, he set up this radio thing very quickly when she was in there.
That is true. I'd assume that he got like some sort of alert when he ended up in there. Yeah, because we've seen previously that when certain things happen, I can't remember what caused it the first time, but he'll like turn and be like, "The fuck, something's going on." I can't remember what caused it last time though. So, but he does seem to have, no pun intended again, seem to have some sort of sixth sense for when something goes wrong in the school. So I don't really see why he would just let her end up in there. So I'm just going to assume he was alerted afterwards. But yeah, he did set that up very, very quickly. Like, no time at all. She got there, and then the Yosei-san was there with the radio. It's like, weird. I assumed it was evil Hanako at first because it was that fast.
I was watching this in Japanese, so if it was in English, I would have been able, in my head, I'd been like, I know what each of them sounds like. But in Japanese, I was like, I guess this is just what Hanako sounds like. I don't know what... I can't really tell the difference at the moment. I'm not used to it.
In English, do they actually have, like, different voices?
Yes.
Oh. Because in Japanese, at least, this might be very racist of me, I don't know. But in Japanese, they do sound the same to me, and I assumed that was on purpose, due to them being twins, so presumably having the same accent and stuff as well. There are slight differences, but for the most part, it's like, which one's which?
No, they're quite distinct voices in the English dub.
Fair enough. But yes. Hanako informs the pair that they aren't at a boundary. They are nowhere / everywhere. It's one of these weird explanations where it's just like you kind of have to suspend your disbelief and be like, okay, sure. It's like you are nowhere, but everywhere. What?
It's ghosty woasty shit, you know? Timey-wimey, ghosty woasty. It's
wibbly-wobbly.
Wibbly-wobbly. It's all over the place. It's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, these are your rules for ghosts. I'll go with it for now. But yes, he explains to them where they are, and that he's sent one of his Hakujodai, the little like orb things that follow him around, to find her. In the meantime, he's told her to try opening doors that she recognizes. Make sure not to open doors she doesn't, because those possibly have dangerous things within them. So, what does Natsuhiko do? He goes around like 20 doors and just opens them all.
I enjoyed this sequence. He was just like, fuck it, I'm here with a cute girl, it's time I show it off, and just started opening everything.
Meanwhile, Yashiro's like, please, no, so careful, stop. And eventually he just gets dragged through one of the doors. I did like his departure where he just like tried to claw himself back and he was like, you'll be fine, Yashiro.
Also, like, when they opened doors, a lot of weird... let's say at least one weird reference to Terminator 2, when they opened one of the doors.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, what?
I was very confused.
Of all the references for this cutesy Japanese anime about ghosts to make, you referenced 1992's Terminator 2. That's okay. That's weird.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm going to refer someone to a good film, I'll happily refer them to Terminator 2.
Is it a thing that Japanese audiences are like very familiar with, Terminator?
I've absolutely no idea.
It seems like one of those things.
I assume yes.
It just seemed like one of those things that I didn't think would have crossed over, but there it is, Terminator 2.
I legit have no clue. I kind of want to look that up now, but I don't want to type because my mic will definitely pick it up. Just like, is Terminator 2 popular in Japan? Is Terminator popular in Japan?
And what did they think of Dark Fate?
Like, they like their mechs and all that, so I wonder if might I don't know. They have wild tastes over there, so I can't imagine Terminator being too wild for them.
It's not too mild. It's just one of those. It's one of the things I've never thought about. Like, does the Japanese market like Terminator? Nothing that had ever popped into my head until I watched this episode.
Now I'm picturing a Japanese dub of Terminator 2, and that's just weird. Dubbing live action just doesn't work.
I want to see the Japanese dub of Terminator 2 with subtitles.
I mean, if you have a DVD copy, I'm sure there is.
I want to go several layers deep here. I want to watch an American movie in Japanese with English subtitles. That's where I want to be.
Oh dear God, I kind of want to do this now as well for some reason. I wonder if it's on Netflix. We could do a Netflix party. Oh, right, okay. So yeah, eventually Natsuhiko gets dragged off. He says, "Yeah, Yashiro will be fine." Gives him like a thumbs up as he's dragged through the door. That's not the Terminator 2 reference. Chris literally means Terminator 2 reference. But and funnily enough, Yashiro walks off and just like, I feel like he'll be fine.
We're not worried in the slightest that he's been dragged off into another dimension by an extremely powerful ghost-like creature. He's alright.
But yes, eventually she comes across one door from the old school building and opens it, thinking that she's found her way back, but instead she meets Yugi Amane, the live version of Hanako, who runs off and drops his key. She sees that he's like injured and stuff. Yep. And she picks up the key and goes to give it back, but then our Hanako's Hakujodai finds her and brings her back before she could do so. And when she arrives, Hanako gives her a nice big hug and apologizes for the other day, specifically for ruining the donuts, is what he says. And she accepts the apology. And we end with a nice little moment between the two, holding hands whilst. But Yashiro doesn't actually mention having the keys or having met his live self, which I'm just like, I wonder what they're gonna do with that.
It was at this moment where I was like, tell him everything. Like, on the phone, she was like, "Oh, that a weird tea party?" I'm like, tell him that you were kidnapped by his evil twin. Tell him that evil twin wants to kill you. Tell him that the evil twin has some sort of plan and also has a helper. Tell him about the missing boy who got dragged off into another dimension. Also tell him about tell him everything. Tell him everything, God damn it.
Yeah, there's no reason for her not to. Yashiro is not always the brightest, but I'm not even using that as an excuse. I do also feel like she should be like, right, okay, so here's everything that's happened in the last day.
There's some sort of conspiracy to kill us.
Like
we might want to get on this.
You said there was a rogue wonder. I think we know who it is. That's all there, working with the rogue wonder, but I don't know. Again, I assumed Sakura was the rogue wonder, but now I'm thinking, it's like, is it Tsukasa? Is it both of them? I want to know.
But I feel like he's very shocked to see his twin brother when he turned up. If he was another wonder, he would have been interacting with him. At least he would have at least been aware of him.
Yeah, he would have known that he'd be out and about. So yeah, what is the rogue wonder? Is it Sakura? This show has a better mystery than fucking No Guns.
Well, actually. Sakura, she says that she's the third year and that she's bound to this ghost. However, we learned that I've forgotten his name, Tsukasa?
Yep.
He is the opposite of Hanako. He doesn't grant wishes for the living. He grants wishes
it for the dead.
He grants it for the dead and ghosts. So if she's bound to him, then he must have given her a wish of some kind. So maybe she's a ghost.
Good attention to detail there, Krishna. Thank you. I'd forgotten about that bit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, the reason that Yashiro is linked to Hanako is because she was alive and made a wish, and then they got linked by that. But that's not the way it could work for the opposite of Hanako, who only does it for ghosts.
That is a fair point, but that still doesn't answer the question of if she's the rogue wonder or not.
I mean, I feel like it's a solid clue for her being a wonder category.
It's certainly a solid clue for her being a ghost. I'm happy to go into the assumption that she's just a ghost that's a part of the school, because they did say, like you said, that they could do that. But it's whether or not she's actually the wonder, or if they're just working with the wonder. But there hasn't really been any more build-up for another wonder to come in at this point, because it would be very last minute, like, it was actually this guy all along. And it's like, no. Come on, show. You've been good up to this point. So for now, we can assume Sakura, but we're still not certain.
I mean, it's also possible we're looking into it far too much.
Maybe. And after the credits, we see Tsukasa saying he hopes this time it'll come true. No idea what that's referring to, because that is not answered in the next episode. So, that's episode 9 of Toyed About Hanako-Kun. Episode 10, we open with Yashiro reporting to the boys about how spirit arms have appeared in all the photos of the gardening club's albums, and now they keep appearing all around her as well. Odd way to start the episode, to say the least.
I liked it as a setup, though. I was like, oh, that's some suitably creepypasta.
No, I mean, it suits the setting, but I was just like, weird, okay.
It also seemed very late in the game to be setting up like a new B plot. It's like, oh, we're on like the third to last episode. Here's a brand new mystery. I'm like, okay. But then it turns out it's linked to everything anyway, so...
Yeah, this episode gets weird, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. So... at first, Ko tries to exercise them with, I say exercise in inverted commas because he tries to arm wrestle one of the arms, but he gets completely obliterated and is just like down. And then they eventually realize that the arms just want attention, and then they go away, it seems, because the one that, was it the one that arm wrestled him just vanished shortly afterwards?
Yes, it was,
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's how they figure that out. So they start like interacting with them, doing stuff until eventually they're just down to one arm, which is stuck in a mirror. And so Ko learns that Mitsuba took the garden club's photos, which I was just like, yeah, I'm not surprised. As soon as they mentioned it, I was like, I wonder who took these. I was like, it's going to be Mitsuba. It's going to be Mitsuba. Who else is it going to be? We know one person in the school that takes bloody photos, and we're on episode 10.
Yes, it could only have been Mitsuba.
But yeah, so we learn that he took the garden club's photos, and then as he realizes this, hence why he's distracted, the arm grabs Yashiro and drags her through the bathroom mirror.
That last hand is horrifying. When it grabbed her and like it reveals like its little mouth, and it's like, you're coming with me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it was quite disturbing. And then Hanako trying to get her as well, and her hand slipping, and it's like, ooh, God damn it! This I'm curious to see where this goes, and then we see where it goes, and it does get interesting. Because on the other side, she meets none other than Mitsuba, which surprised me. I thought he was like dead. I'm very confused by this.
I also assumed he was dead.
So yeah, no. Who is back to his usual self, it seems, and explains that he asked the hands to bring someone who could help him get out of wherever he is. Where he is it's another wonder of the school called the Hell of Mirrors. I didn't get the number down, but it's the Hell of Mirrors. And Yashiro agrees to help him out. She then informs him what she knows about boundaries and tries to make him feel better because he keeps her to his distance. God damn it, fucking traps. His distance from her. But it just weirds him out some more, and he does his usual hurling insults.
He also seems to be, his memories are gone. He doesn't remember who he is or where he is or why he's there.
Yeah. Like, did he even know he was a ghost? I think that was like the one thing he knew.
I think he knew he was a ghost. Outside of that, I don't think he remembered anything else.
So yeah, they wonder about the Hell of Mirrors for a bit, and then she bumps into a mirror. Oh, God.
I also do like that he's like the perfect dude for Yashiro, apparently. Where she's like, she looks at him, and everyone else is like, oh, he's too girly and whatnot. I was like, okay, she's going to say something. And she was like, he's perfect. I'm like, okay.
And then he spoke. Instantly going after her. What did he say? I think he said fat ankles, and then he joined in on the daikon thing later.
Yeah, he was certainly helping the Hell of Mirrors along with its job.
Yeah, he was prick. But yeah, she bumps into a mirror which has Aoi, her friend that knows everything about all the school rumors. Apparently,
I'm not gonna lie. For the when I first saw her, I was like, "Oh shit, she was the wonder all along." I was like, "She knows everything about ghosts, and she's the one." No, it turns out she's just a mirror. But for a second, my mind was blown.
To be fair, yeah, I had a similar reaction for a split second. I was like, "This strangely makes sense. It explains why she knows so much about." I didn't think to myself she was a wonder, but I was like, it makes sense that she's a ghost. And then she wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, that would have made sense.
Like momentarily, whole new universes had been opened up in my mind. I was like, everything fits together. All of a sudden, my life makes sense.
All the pieces are falling into place. And then it turns out not to be true. It's just the mirror fucking with her.
It was fucking with me. God damn it! Turns out I was in the hell of mirrors.
But yeah, Aoi turns around, goes to speak to Yashiro, and yeah, starts telling her that her legs are ugly, and summons mirrors with her friends' faces in them. They all start calling her an ugly daikon, and like we said, Mitsuba also does, because he's a fucking prick.
Ugly daikon. Did they add chan on the end? I can't remember, but they kept chanting it, and it made me giggle. But also at the same time, I felt bad for the ugly daikon.
Yashiro. Yeah. Oh, Chris. Have some respect for her, god damn it.
I'm still not entirely sure what a daikon is. Is it like some sort of like turnip?
I was gonna say, I think turnip. It looks like a turnip. Maybe it's a Japanese turnip. I don't know. I kind of want to look this up as well. There are several things we need to look up after the stream, but I can't make notes. But no, it certainly looks like a turnip of some sort. We then cut to Ko and Hanako debating what to do. Hanako says they can't just go barging in, as it could just make the wonder stronger, because they do actually explain what the hell of mirrors is. So if I'm remembering correctly, basically, you at some point get dragged through a mirror, and those of you who are, I think it was brave and sincere or something along those lines, they could just easily wander back out. But for people who have fears and are insecure, you're basically doomed, because it just makes fun of you the whole time and eventually apparently tries to replace you with a doppelganger.
Yeah, that's the part. I mean, that's the creepiest part, but also I'm not entirely sure that jives well. Like, it's like, hey, it drags you into the mirror and it makes fun of you to feed on your fears, and also at some point it's going to kill you and replace you. I'm like, okay, one of these doesn't fit with the other.
It's like, wow, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, we went from like 2 out of 10 to like full-on murder. Somewhere along this story.
Like a lie, for a split second, I thought she was dead. Because eventually it turns to like nighttime, and the mirror then turns hostile and tries to like capture. Only tries to capture her, because when Mitsuba goes up to the mirror, it doesn't show anything because he's a ghost, so can't replace him. But eventually it turns hostile and tries to grab Yashiro. And Ko, I keep saying Ko, god damn it, Mitsuba. It's because Ko's so much easier to say. Mitsuba tries to help, and then he gets like pinned down, and it's like when the giant hand that's picked Yashiro up like squeezes like shit. What?
I was like, you'll be too loud, and then it just kind of like kills her. For a second, I was like, oh shit, this hand is going to squeeze her to death.
Yeah, I was like, is she dead? Because she flops, and I'm like, no. Nah, there's 2 episodes left. They can't kill her off. But
I mean, this is a show about ghosts. Even if she dies, she can continue being a character, but that would get dark.
That would, yeah. But to be honest, with the depressing episodes we had last week, I wouldn't put it against the show to go there at some point. Maybe for like at the very end, maybe. But I don't know. But yeah, they're both in a shit state. Yeah, Yashiro's about to be killed, and then all of a sudden we see a Hanako figure jump in, and at the first I was like, Hanako, wait. He said he wasn't going to jump in here. Tsukasa? Why would Tsukasa save? And then we see Tsukasa, I'm like, shit. Why? What? And this ending is just very confusing for me. So Tsukasa jumps in, destroys the ghosts, rips off the head of the fucking wonder, and then goes over to Mitsuba, who, if you remember correctly, he previously killed. Initially twisted and then killed.
Wasn't it Hanako who killed Mitsuba?
Was it?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure Tsukasa made him into like a weird broken neck ghost who was going to like kill people, and then he was going to kill Ko, and then Hanako turns up and kills Mitsuba, and is like, "Hey Ko, when you're dead, you're dead. Don't make friends with ghosts."
I thought what I'd done, because initially, remember, it was Tsukasa that punched Mitsuba through the chest. I thought all that Hanako did was turn him back to his normal Mitsuba, but it was I assumed it was the chest puncture that killed him. But again, he's a ghost, so that might not kill a ghost. I don't know.
I was fairly sure Hanako stabbed him, like sliced him. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know.
Maybe you'll rewatch. I could rewatch this show. I love this show. But okay, yeah. Either way, we thought him dead. But no, Tsukasa casually goes up to him and is like, there, what am I going to do with you? And I'm like, hang on, you're responsible for him going all demented and shit. Why are you... I mean, granted, he's lost his memories, but why are you all buddy-buddy now? Yashiro just kind of sat there dumbfounded like me. I was like, the fuck's going on here?
I'm assuming Tsukasa, since he's the ghost that grants ghost wishes, is here to fulfill his contract with, I forgot his name, Mitsuba. But, I don't know. I don't even know how he knew where he was.
I'm all in all, because that's the end of the episode, I'm just very confused by this ending. I'm just like, but what? Like, what? Same reaction as Yashiro.
I also like how Tsukasa looked at Yashiro and was like, oh, you're alive! Oh, good! Get to torment you more.
I did like that. I liked it. I was confused. Again, I was also confused by that, though, because I was like, I'm assuming you wanted her dead and or gone. But okay. I mean, you're kind of established to make no sense anyway, so... But, no, yeah, this is a very confusing end, but I'll take confusing over depressing, because last week was just goddamn depressing.
True. And there is a Hell of Mirrors part 2, so I'm sure we'll get some answers next time round.
Yes, I forgot this is a two-parter, so... Yeah, a two-parter, right? As the penultimate episodes for this show. I'm curious to see how the show leaves us next week. But I'm looking forward to it, most definitely. So, overall impressions of episodes 9 and 10 for Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun this week, Krishna.
Now, I've got a weird take on it. I enjoyed these episodes, as I always do, but I see, because of the current global pandemic that we're suffering, dubs have been delayed, understandable enough. However... moving into these episodes, I had to watch them in Japanese, which is... it's not really a had to, I'm happy to watch them in Japanese, but it did change the vibe of the show. Which is... I just didn't like it as much, I guess. Maybe it's because I've spent so many episodes getting used to the English cast, and I felt like I knew them, and everything is just slightly different when you change voice actors for everything.
Out of curiosity, because you keep saying it's given the show a different vibe. What was the original vibe? What's it gone to, out of curiosity? It's
hard to say, like... Hanako was a bit creepier in his creepier, but also like more fun. But that said, Hanako's not really in these episodes a huge amount, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, what you've just said there is perfectly sums up what I've been thinking of Hanako. So yeah, that sounds about right.
It's just it's hard to describe. It just feels different. I just get a different vibe off it.
As is natural when you're going from dub to sub, because when they dub these, the English voice actors have to give the characters a life of their own, which isn't always necessarily going to match the original subbed version.
It's to match it to our Western sensibilities.
Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah. So just to clarify for viewers as well, I really should add this as like part of the intro spiel, but we inadvertently have a not necessarily a dub versus sub mentality, but I always watch the sub, and if Chris can, he usually watches the dub. So it's quite interesting to get these comparisons from time to time. But yes, due to the pandemic, Krishna has now been forced to join us in the sub right at the end of these shows. So I imagine this week's rocks the boat quite a bit for you for all of these shows.
It did. Darwin's Game is the other one. Okay, just No Gun's Life still in English because that's a pretty old show. I always watched ReZero in Japanese because there's no English dub of the director's cut. But this is the one where it changed my perception of the show. It's not even like I hate it. I still really enjoyed these episodes, but it's like everyone just gives the Japanese voice actors just give a little bit of different energy to it than the English voice actors give to it, which is not a bad thing, but it's just not what I'm used to.
I can easily picture the show, like I've not heard the dub, but I've had enough experience now with dub v sub where I kind of know how English voice actors tend to take these characters. I feel like I could definitely easily picture the show being slightly creepier in the Japanese than in the English.
It's a lot. the English has like a certain campy quality to it. It's very camp. It's very over the top and silly. It's a bit less silly in Japanese. It's just, to me, it just feels a little less fun-loving, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But it's still got the same vibe as the dub. The dub isn't going to change it completely. It's just the energy. The Japanese voice actors' energy is different than the energy that the English voice actors bring to it, and it changed it, not necessarily for the worst, but it made me enjoy it just a little bit less because it wasn't what I was used to.
Perfectly fair. A natural response to the situation that you are now in. But yeah, okay, so overall impressions for this week are we enjoyed the show still. A little less than normal for Chris due to swapping to sub for now, but still a damn good show, and I'm very curious to see how this ends, really. There's a few things they've set up now, and I'm like, okay, you need to pay this off, you need to pay this off, you need to pay this off. Let's see where this goes.
I'm not so sure that 2 episodes can pay everything off at this point, but we'll see.
Well, like we said, we don't know if this is a 1-season show or not, so could potentially have 12 more episodes of this in the future. We shall see. But okay, yeah, overall, good show. We still love it, and it didn't depress us this week, so that's nice. It went more back to its normal roots, with a bit more mystery added on top again. But okay, so that was episodes 9 and 10 of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. And now we move on to Darwin's Game, episodes 8 and 9. And this week I legit had no clue what was going on, because we finally caught up to where I originally had watched the show up to before we started doing the anime talk show on it. So it was nice not knowing what was going to happen going forward.
I imagine it was. I've always not known, and I found these episodes slightly underwhelming, personally. But I guess that's Darwin's Game in general. Just slightly underwhelming at all times.
I was going to say, that's pretty much always Darwin's Game for us, isn't it? But we'll get there. We'll get there as we talk about it. So,
also on the dub versus sub, I had 1 episode of English on this one, which was episode 8, and then 1 episode of Japanese. So I've got all spectrum. Not that this show really suffered from either, to be honest. It was just kind of like the same throughout all.
I was gonna say we'll ask for the if there was any key difference at the end again, but from the sound of it, no. From your opinion,
no. Again, I slightly prefer the English, but that's just what I'm used to.
Oh, perfectly fair. Right, so let's try and get through these because we're already 40 minutes in. Bloody hell. Episode 8 of Darwin's Game. We have a lot to say about Toilet Bound, apparently. So we open with Ryuji, confused by Kaname's bluff, debating what to do, swearing revenge on... so we got kind of like another generic one, because last week we had... Was it last week? I think last week we had the generic, I'm playing Darwin's Game because someone killed my family. This week we have Ryuji wants to kill Wang because he killed his brother. I'm like, God damn it, show.
Everybody has a dead family member. It's the most generic, like... inspiration for your act, like, he, like, what, I can't remember her name now, Shuka, that's it.
Shuka?
Yeah, hers like, I was a little girl and my dad was killed by, in mysterious circumstances. I'm like, that's every character. I'm like, that's every character's motivation. And then we come to this one, he's like, he killed my brother in basically the exact same way that her dad died. Like, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not nothing related between the two, apart from obviously them just being Darwin's Game related deaths, because the guy who killed Shuka's parents definitely had some sort of supernatural powers, but apart from that, it's just like, yeah, this is god damn it, you couldn't try harder with these backstories.
You killed my father / brother, and now I will get my revenge.
There's nothing wrong with that backstory in particular. You can do interesting things with it, like you can with most literary devices, because there are methods and tropes in storytelling that have been around almost as long as we've been telling stories, but we still find ways to tell interesting stories, despite how often they've been used. However, this show did it twice in like 3 episodes with 2 of our main characters. And
it's not really doing anything interesting with them. It's just like, why are you doing this? Oh, he killed my dad. Okay. Okay.
Why are you doing this? He killed my brother. You killed my family.
And now you must die.
So yeah, another generic backstory. It's like, God damn it, Darwin's game. We want to like you, but you're just too damn generic. It's just the show in a nutshell.
The thing is, I enjoy the show, despite its genericisms. But like, they're generic because they're all right. Like, they're serviceable. They're fine. They work. They've been used before because they're good enough. You know. So I enjoy the show fine enough. I mean, this episode specifically felt a little underwhelming to me, but
I wasn't actually. I mean, we'll get there pretty fast. I wasn't actually expecting the events to end that quickly. I thought there was going to be still more treasure hunting, but no, we'll get to it very quickly. So, Kaname bluffs some more about how he figured out the puzzle, and seems Wang buys his bluff for ensuring his safety, but still plans on killing Ryuji, which Kaname pretends to have no problem with, which is where Ryuji's ability came in handy, because he looked at him and was like, well, I know you're lying. Thank you for that. But Ryuji misinterprets it, because Ryuji basically has like a grenade vest strapped to him, which Wang hasn't realized yet. So he's planning on just like suiciding with him when Wang's caught off guard, so that he doesn't just teleport away. And this is what... then Kaname throws Wang the key to like be like, here, you could verify it. And Ryuji's like, now's my chance. And then it's a good thing he interpreted what Kaname said. Otherwise, he would have just blown himself up, and Kaname would have been like, the fuck? Yeah, I'm sure Kaname had no idea he had a vest strapped to him.
It's lucky it worked out that way, because Kaname somehow, I guess the idea is that Kaname knows that you can tell who's lying and not lying, so he was like expecting Ryuji to put the dots together. I'm very sure it would not have worked out this way with anyone who's like acting logic. From Ryuji's perspective, like what does he think Kaname has got up his sleeve? He's just like, well, I guess this is my moment to commit suicide. I don't understand why he doesn't, to be honest.
And I mean, I'm not even sure why the words Kaname said like swayed him, because he didn't say like anything special or anything directed at Ryuji. It was just like something I've learned while playing this game, yada yada yada. Staying alive is like the best thing, and I was just like, okay, I feel like Ryuji's still going to kill himself to get revenge.
Yeah.
Plus, Kaname doesn't even know he wants why he wants revenge on Wang. All he knows is that he wants it.
Yeah. I mean, like, also as plans go, I just found this we spent episodes and episodes building up Wang. We'd be like, look, as generic as it is, it was fun enough to be doing the battle royale, and we were searching for the clues, and we're looking for this, that, and the other. And then at the end, it all boiled down to, I'm going to bluff with my car keys to finish this whole thing off. And I was like, okay, is that it? That's what we got.
Also, it was very lucky that the terminal that he had to input the code was right there where he was stood. Otherwise, he'd been fucked.
Also, like, he did this whole thing like, Rain, you're the only one who can figure this out. I'm going to get you out of here and put you in the shop. Now you go into your mind palace and do whatever you need to do to figure it out, while I figure it out as well. And just go and do it. Like, at no point did she communicate what the solution to the puzzle was. He just kind of, like, figured it out himself.
I'll give it some leeway in that I think we're supposed to assume that he was there when she figured it out. But my thing is, like, why did she even need to go into her mind palace? Like, she goes to her mind palace to be like, okay, the numbers make this date is the day that Charles Darwin published his book on evolution, yada, yada, yada. Just so you guys know, the code that they've been desperately trying to figure out, they just put it into the, like, lockers at the station. I'm like, what did any of that have to do with the other?
It had nothing to do with it. Basically, all she needed to do was fit like, oh look, it's the keypad code for the cleaners' lockers at this train station. Instead, she was like, right, it's the date that Darwin was published. However, the last two letters are blah blah blah. I'm like, no, like you went on a whole different tangent here.
I think it's like I feel like you severely overcomplicated this for yourself. But yeah, so yeah, whilst Wang's distracted and he manages to, I'm going to say coincidentally, stop Ryuji from suicide bombing himself, he inputs the code into the lockers, and when Wang catches the keys, like, hang on, what's this? And he's kind of like, yeah, that's just my bike keys. And Wang looks back and he sees he's opened the locker. And it's a good thing that counted as the win condition as well, because I assumed he'd have to open the box to end the game.
Yeah, also, how did he know that as soon as he found it, that they'd all be frozen in place and teleported away? Like, how did he know that was what would be happen when he got the win condition?
Otherwise, he would have been shot to shit.
Yeah, otherwise
he would have just taken it.
Surrounded by 8 clan members, and oh well, I guess I'm fucked. Like his whole plan relies on him knowing that as soon as he opens this locker, everybody's immobilized, and they're all getting taken away. Like, did he even know that the teleportation would immobilize them?
Did he just assume and hope? Because that's the only thing we can assume.
It's one of those where it's like, oh look, he's 5 steps ahead of everyone. He's like such a great tactical thinker, and I was like, how did he know any of this? Like, how did this plan doesn't make sense from the information I had at any rate.
It's another one of those. It's that problem we've highlighted before with Kaname's character, which is unfortunate. Kaname, his power is okay, and what he does with it made him interesting, because like when he was fighting Shuka and improvising and making traps and stuff, it's like, okay, this is good, we like this. And same thing when he fought like the boxing club guy, that was also interesting. When he was presented with information, told how valuable a phone is, and then in that fight he quickly swipes the other guy's phone. It's like, I'll destroy this in a millisecond if you don't stop the fight right now. I was like, this is good. However, the show has a habit of giving Kaname information before any other characters / the audience sometimes. It's like, this just feels cheap. And they keep doing it.
I mean, on this one specifically, it just feels like he had, like... It feels like he made assumptions. Like, it feels like he didn't know what any of this would do, but, like, the show's like, he knew all along and he's a tactical genius. I'm like, no. I feel like he guessed his way through this.
I got very damn lucky at the end. Or he and his friends would be dead. Or at least he and Ryuji would be dead, and then Shuka would go on a killing spree. But, yeah, okay. Also, I want to quickly stop and pause and say, we are picking the show to pieces, but we do like it. It's just, it's on the middle ground. We want it to be better than it is.
What I'll say, I like the show. I didn't like this episode very much, to be honest. But I liked all the episodes that led here, and I don't mind the next episode, but this episode specifically I was not very into. It just felt like a lot of like what we'd been built up just all kind of boiled down to one very simple encounter.
But right, okay, so after he opens the locker, well, first of all, Ryuji sees what Kaname's done, laughs, and then Wang looks back and sees that he's opened the locker, and then the teleportation thing happens, it freezes everyone else and teleports them all away. God knows where. I assume back to where they were before the event started. I don't know. I'm thinking about it too much. Anyway, they all get teleported away. Kaname is left there. We cut back to like the casino place, and we see the lady with the fox mask being the only person who bet on Kaname. And it's like, I'm going to go collect my earnings now. And immediately my brain was like, does she mean she's going to go collect him? that was literally my immediate thought. I was like, they're betting on people's lives here. I'm like, I feel like she's not just betting money for some reason, and that was proven right next episode.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me to this very moment to connect that she is the assassin from the next episode. Okay, right, that makes sense.
Fox mask. It's the fox mask.
They fooled me, and by fooled me, I just really wasn't paying attention. I guess was the summary of the story.
It's the subtitles. You were too distracted by the subtitles in the next episode. You did.
My mind was all off kilter. I could never connect that these two characters were the same.
But no, yeah, so she says that, and then we cut back to Kaname, who opens the box, and he finds a phone. And then the phone rings, and he gets a call from the creator of the game, who's basically is like, okay, hey, you won, so I get to, you get me to grant you one wish. As long as it's possible. And naturally, Kaname's like, I want to quit the game. He's like, you can't quit the game. Which, I don't know, it made me chuckle for some reason. I was just like, oh, I'll give you credit, Kaname. You went straight for what you wanted. You kind of screwed everyone else over as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, but first of all, his clan, like, hey, we did all of this. I sacrificed my arm. We did all this. And then he's like, yeah, I quit. Goodbye. I don't want anything to do with this anymore.
Prime douche right there. It's like, yeah, have fun everyone else in this death game. I'm just gonna go now.
Well, also, maybe it'll be explained in the future. It's like, I want to quit this game. It's like, no, that's not possible. I'd be like, why the fuck's it not possible, bitch? Why can't I quit?
But to be fair, we get an explanation as to not why he can't quit, but the creator does say, it's like, right, okay, you can't quit, but there are 2 methods to quit the game. So you either finish the game, so the game does actually have an end point, or you kill the creator / destroy the system of the game. So yeah, Kaname gets that information, and then he asks for something else, which we don't immediately see. But it's a... Sorry,
what I will say about finishing the game is like it kind of like for like I don't know, the way I view video games is like I assume Darwin's game is something like an MMO or like World of Warcraft or something like that, and you never finish World of Warcraft. You can just exist forever in World of Warcraft. But like it falls into like a thing that TV shows get wrong about video games a lot of the time. It's like you're stuck in like an 80s mindset where there's levels and there's always a definitive endpoint to a game, you know? Like I just feel like Darwin's game can't end. It's like you can just go forever in it.
Yeah, I kind of had that issue as well, because it's like you need to finish. The two ways to quit the game, you finish the game. I was like, well, hang on, because like Chris says, like this seems much more like an MMO. And what you're saying there makes it sound like a single player thing with a story, which so far we've not seen any elements of like a story or a through path, or there's not been anything to follow to indicate there's a progression for completing the game overall, because it just seems to be random encounters.
What it reminds me of is Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, you just catch Pokemon forever. Like, they'll just keep appearing. There's raids to go to that involve other players. There's economies to buy into. There's blah, blah, blah. There's no like, oh, you've done everything now. You finished the game, pat on the back. It's like, you just go forever. There's no end to it.
Like, if it was regular Pokemon, where it's like, okay, you got to get to the Elite Four, then beat the champion, and then, I mean, technically, it's not game over, but you do technically at least finish the game then. But even then, in this, it's like there's not like a gym system or anything, because there is a number one player, and it's like, well, they got there on their own merit, so it's not like beating her will finish the game. So what's the end point? You've given us a start point.
Yeah, there's a number one player, but she's not finished the game. So what does finishing? It's a whole. It's a movie/TV thing where it's like, video games to them are what they were in the 90s. They have levels and you will finish them, and it's like, it's not really like that, especially with the game that you've presented us with.
If they'd presented us with a game with a through line, like if it was a AR MMO which actually had like a main plot to it, which was just like super difficult and so many people have died, like even the number one player isn't skilled enough to get through what's been killing everyone at a certain point in the story, then I'd be like, fair enough. Makes sense. But in this case, it's just like, no, this is just a bunch of random encounters with a number one player that somehow hasn't finished the game either. So, yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. But yeah, okay. So, Kaname asks for something else. We don't hear what it is. We just hear the creator being like, ooh, interesting. And then we cut to 2 months later. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with the time jump because it kind of it gets some stuff out the way. Really, it's just like, okay, so what are people doing after the event? How have they covered up the event? And all of this. So, Chris, what did you think about their cover for the event? It was a terrorist bombing.
Hey, it was a terrorist bombing, but also just before the terrorist bombing, maybe 15 million people just left the city. Okay.
No casualties.
No casualty. Nobody was around to witness this bombing.
To be fair, they might have reported fake casualties, and that all the people who actually died in the death game, they could have reported those as fake casualties. But even then, it's like, that's a city of thousands.
like you evacuated all of Shibuya. You evacuated the whole city. There was no one to witness this. Nobody thought it was weird that everybody just left the city in the middle of the afternoon. Like, not just like what, like everybody left the city. Everybody, like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So, from the information we have and how much influence we've seen them assert, I can only assume the news report went something like this. So, on that specific date, I can't make up a fake date right now. My brain's still all muddled. Police or government officials got a report of a terrorist bombing, so they evacuated the district of Shibuya, in which the bombing then proceeded. Possibly during the investigation, 200 lives were lost. Because that's roughly about how many people died in the Darwin's game match, because we only started with 300, and destroying the whatever hotel and causing damage to the surrounding areas in Shibuya State District. It doesn't sound too implausible, but that's me being generous and wording it very carefully. And the news report does not give us that. The news report just goes, there was a terrorist bombing. And I'm like,
I can just about buy it that way round. But
that's not how they put it. That's me being generous to the show.
That's not how they put it, and it's also not how it unfolded on the day either. Like, it wasn't like this exploded while, like, it's not like they were doing Darwin's game while Shibuya was going about its normal day of life. Literally, like, everybody just up and left the city. Like, everybody just walked away. And the police, this building blew up and the police never turned up. Nobody, from a normal citizen's perspective, I feel like there would be a lot of questions to ask about this.
If the report had been worded the way I just said there, probably would have been able to buy it. But the way the show did it, they just went, no, the terrorist bombing 2 months ago in Shibuya district, blah blah blah, and I was just like, yeah, no, that there should be many more people asking questions if you just word it like that. But oh well. So we get that.
Well, actually, also on a not only was it because like they're like, oh, terrorist bombing, but also for maybe 24 hours preceding and after, well, leading up to that bombing, and also for a few hours afterwards, there was like World War III on the streets. There was sniper fire, there was automatic machine gun fire, there were explosions, there was like crazy fire. Like, it wasn't just a terrorist bombing. Like this. Anyway.
Again, me trying to be like the reasonable news reporter. The only thing I could think for that is like the Japanese Defense Force. Once during the evacuation, the Japanese Defense Force engaged the terrorists, but they were unsuccessful and still caused the bombing to go off. Something along those lines. Again, that's the only thing I can think of, because obviously the regular police wouldn't have had access to all those materials, and we just have to skim over the superpowers, otherwise it makes no sense at all if there are any eyewitness reports from the surrounding districts.
We'll just buy into it. Well, not, but actually, also, sorry. Every time I'm like, let's move on, then my brain's like, wait a sec. Yeah, the climax of this whole war, the very center of this event, was Shibuya Station. That's like one of like the main like transit terminals in Tokyo, if Persona is anything to be believed. The Ginza line goes through that. The other line, like almost all the train lines, go through that one station. So not only did they have to shut down Shibuya, they also had to shut down the trains that went through Shibuya for like 24 hours before this bomb even went off. Anyway. I'll just stop there, and we'll say it's a government cover-up.
Again, I want to say, we do kind of like the show. There are just so many holes with it, and it has the potential to be good. We nitpick it. Well, not even necessarily nitpick. These are just general kind of flaws. But we pick out these flaws not because we dislike it, but because we want it to be good. And it's kind of fun.
I enjoy nitpicking a plot, and at the end of the day, I don't think the show is bad or good based on my saying Shibuya. Someone should have noticed Shibuya was evacuated. But at the same time, it kind of shows like when I'm watching the show, I should be absorbed so much in what's going on that I'm not there thinking about, well, what about the lost revenue from this business day in Shibuya? I should be like, oh, cool, they're blowing each other up. But I'm just kind of like a general malaise just kind of sets in while watching the show. And I'm like, but what about Shibuya?
There's one of two things a show can do, and if it's really good, it could potentially do both. Either the rule of cool outweighs everything. I've explained this previously. If you don't know what the rule of cool is, you can quickly go look it up. But basically, it's the rule of cool is in a simple explanation. If something's very cool, then usually people won't be thinking about if it works. A classic example would be if any of you have seen the show Ruby, or kind of just like any anime in general, and they have like a weird implausible weapon, but the way the character wields it just looks really cool in the fight. It's like, should that work? No. Is it cool? Yes. Not gonna think about it. They could do that, or they could actually try to explain things the way we've been explaining them. Or they could do both. This show doesn't quite have the cool factor to wave away the other stuff, is the unfortunate thing.
It's not engaging enough for me. Like while I'm sat there, I shouldn't be thinking about all of this, but I am.
But yes. Okay, let's try and get through this episode. We're nearly at the hour mark. We're over the hour mark. Shit, this is going to be a long episode.
We can add a bit of speed.
No, maybe. It's fine. I don't like to rush these things. We'll just keep going at our pace. The show will get a lot shorter once we get to the current anime season. We only have like 4 episodes a week to review, as opposed to 10 at the moment. Or was it 8? 8. But yeah, okay, so 2 months later, blamed on a terrorist bombing. Then we cut to Kaname's friend at school. So this bit I kind of liked. I was like, oh, okay, so people are actually noticing that he's, not here. Because Kaname's friend at school is like, where the fuck are my two friends? It's been gone 2 months.
I kind of felt bad for his friend, but also at the same time, I feel like some sort of criminal investigation should have been launched into the disappearance of the other friend. Like, he is dead. Like, his family members must have been like, where the hell is he? The school must be like, where the hell is he? Kaname, like... He's alive. I'm sure he can cover stuff up. But the other friend is just dead.
No, I felt bad for this friend. And to be fair, he's actually active because we see, I think at the end of this episode, it is the end of this episode, that he's actually like goes to Kaname's house and like knocks on his door looking for him and stuff. I also feel like the school probably should be investigating where 2 of their students have gone.
That's what I was saying. Like, Kaname can call in sick. He's still around, so he can call in like, hey, I've got COVID-19. I can't come in for a while. But, like, the other friend is just dead. He can't make excuses for himself.
Yeah, the family member thing I can, again, buy for Kaname, because we see that Kaname apparently lives on his own, whereas his friend's family should be like, he hasn't been answering calls for 2 months, and his school says he's not there. What's happening? But...
Maybe the cell phones made them forget.
I don't know, but okay, so yeah, we see his friend wondering where they are for 2 months, and then we also see Shuka and Sui debating on what house to buy for the clan.
I found this scene very uncomfortable.
Gee, I wonder why. Could it be the bath scene where we have Sui, who looks very, very young and has been established to be a middle schooler?
Like, Shuka, whatever, sure, it's anime, she is a hot anime girl, I'll cast from my mind Shuka's age, but that other character looks like she might be 11 years old, and we're lingering on her more than we are Shuka. Like, I felt like we were what? Maybe it's just because I was like, ugh. Like, inside of my soul, like, it felt longer to me, but I was like, we are lingering on this child for too long.
No, I'm with you. Even I was just sat there like, please move on, please move on. Please move on. Cut back to Shuka, please. Or just move on from the scene. Thank you.
It was also one of those moments I was watching it on my TV, which is like bolted to my wall, so you can see it through. You if you walk along like the streets out back of my house, you can see my TV. It was a quick dive for the blinds situation. I was like, oh shit! I just grabbed the blinds and just tugged them down.
Oh, that's one good thing about living alone, is that I don't have to worry about people seeing my shit, and I always keep the blinds to my office closed anyway, because there's a lot of valuable equipment in here, and I don't want people looking in. But no, back when I was doing the anime talk show and I was living with my family, or with flatmates, I'd just be like, keeping an ear out for the door, like, please don't see some of this stuff, because like Food Wars, that's very ecchi. And then, what was the other one?
Iromanga Sensei?
That's the one. Iromanga Sensei, thank you. Christ. Anime produces some weird shit at times. So yeah, they're debating on a house to buy for the clan, and then we cut to an insurance worker visiting the florist's daughter, who leaves her a check for 300 million yen, sent by Rain, and seems to know about D-Game and everything else, so yeah. Makes sense that insurance companies would want to get in on this.
True. But it did kind of prove something we were saying last week, where we're like, hey, dude, don't die because you won't get the money. He had to rely on Rain surviving this event and going giving his daughter the money, opposed to like any like other like mechanism.
It's fortunate that he made a good impression on Rain, otherwise I feel like Rain would have just been like, well, fuck you. He's dead now and he's stupid. But yeah, so Suzune, the florist's daughter, bumps into Rain because we hear her like yell "get out" to the guy, which is kind of natural when you've just been told your father's dead. And it's like, wait, what? Why is my father dead? What?
However, a minute later, she seems way more fine with it.
I don't even know if she's fine with it. She just seems to kind of forget about it. She bumps into Rain. They have a chat on the roof, and she's obvious. We do get like one line where she's like, but what happened to him? And then Rain just walks off. I would have had a lot more questions for Rain when Rain gives me a con. It's like, people call me the analyst. I distribute information. If you want to know about your father's death, call me. I would have just been like, we're here. Tell me.
Also, isn't Rain kind of dragging this child into this game as well? Sure, look, I thought there was some sort of rule that you can't tell people who don't play about D game about stuff that happens in D game. But like, she's like, call me and I'll tell you all about it. Also, you'll have to fight for your life. for forevermore, if you do ask about that.
I feel like it's a bit of a dick move on Rain's part, because I feel like the only way this will make sense from Rain's perspective, because we've already established a rule, you can't tell people outside of D-Game about D-Game. The only way that she can tell her about it, is if she goes like, right, I need you to download this game first. Why? Just download the game first. And it's like, that's just a dick move, Rain. This is a girl, I think a year or two younger than you, with a heart condition. Don't drag her into this. Stay anonymous and just make up some bullshit.
Yeah, just make something. Oh, you got hit by a car. There you go. That's a generic. This show's full of generic stuff. Oh, he died in a car crash. Cool.
But no, yeah, dick move on Raid's part. I feel not the smartest move, but oh well. Yeah, the show. You have so much potential and it's annoying. But yeah, okay. So then we see Kaname and Ryuji at the boxing club's clan. Ryuji, they're getting his. I was wondering what they were going to do with this, because obviously Ryuji got teleported away. His hand had been cut off. But apparently there's another quirk that heals people. It's basically this world's equivalent of Recovery Girl.
She regrows limbs. Whoever's made this game, you need to sell this to the medical world. You'll make trillions.
Don't destroy the game, Kaname. You need to figure out how all this shit works and distribute these superpowers to the populace of the planet. Mainly the useful ones.
She can regrow limbs, or at least reattach them with her, magic powers. I don't think his arm got teleported away with him, so I'm just going to go with, she regrows limbs.
Yeah.
What is... This superpower is amazing. They're like, Kaname's power is so useful and so unique. She regrows limbs!
You have the ultimate medic.
Screw the ability to make a handgun whenever you need it. She regrows bloody limbs.
But yeah, okay, so Ryuji, fully healed, has his hand back. Kaname has been there for 2 months training. So from what the show says, we can assume that his requests were to do with basically all of his clan members, which I feel like is more than one wish, but oh well, we'll get to that. So yeah, okay. Well, we'll scoot aside Rain's thing, assuming that's just her being independent and being a nice lass. So he asks to have Ryuji's hand fixed, to train at the dojo clan for 2 months, and the Alliance thing is his own thing. Either way, I feel like there's more than one condition to this wish. I mean, genie from Aladdin would be like, no, you get one thing.
Are we sure it's the wish? I thought he just did this afterwards.
I don't know. I assumed that this was the wish, but because otherwise, he only has one contact in that club, which is the guy who tried to fight him. Which, to be fair, he might have gotten in with him to be like, hey, can you help me out? But even then, it's they didn't exchange contact information or anything, so I assumed this was the wish.
I thought it was I'm a clan leader now. I can negotiate with other clan leaders. I want to train at your club, please. That's what I thought it was anyway.
Maybe he also said something about learning, because I think this clan's leader is one of the people who won an event previously, because he said something about him getting permission to host death game fights with special permissions or something. So I assumed his one wish was to find this guy or something. I don't know. Not confirmed yet, but that's my suspicion. We'll see. But yeah, Kaname's been there training for 2 months and is now hopefully going to form an alliance with this clan. And finally, we end the episode with Kaname's friend going to his house, where Sig of the 8th clan is waiting for him. So even after the florist fucking collapsed the building on him, they goddamn survived. That kind of pisses me off a little, because I did like the florist. It's you died for nothing.
I also
apart from 300 million yen.
It would have been a way more badass outro if he'd taken both of them with him, but apparently he didn't.
He could slightly bring it back if the other guy died, but we know Sig is alive, which is unfortunate. I can't remember the other guy's name, but the guy with the airbending martial arts. But yeah, so that was episode 8 of Darwin's Game. A lot more they could have done, and probably should have done, to explain away the event that was the Shibuya treasure hunt.
It just feels like it came to a very abrupt stop. It was and here's the ending. I'm like, okay.
And here's 2 months later. Oh, okay.
It's we're figuring all this stuff out about the rings and about all these QR codes, and the diamond ring has this code, and she has to go into a mind path to try and figure this out. And I was at the end of the day, it was oh, it's just a number for a keypad that has a phone in it. I'm like, okay. Okay.
But no, yeah, I can agree. Of the 2 episodes we had, this one's the more lackluster one. So that was episode 8. Going on to episode 9, we open with the rules for Kaname's match, because basically the guy says, I'll make an alliance with you if you can fight me, because he doesn't want to like make an alliance with a weak clan. So it's like, okay, kind of fair enough. But also he has the undefeated queen. Can you beat her? But sure. So anything goes, no killing intentionally, so accidentally is fine apparently. And then the match begins. After the OP, we see Kaname hold his own for a while, surprising Danjo. I assume that's the guy's name. I can't remember. Danjo with a machete and a submachine gun, so he's added a few new weapons to his arsenal, basically.
They say no intentional killing, but he did open up on this man with a submachine gun at like point blank range.
Yeah, I was like, you're all you do is wield weaponry, Kaname. How is this not trying to intentionally kill someone? You're putting a lot of faith in this guy to be able to dodge your bullets.
All you can do is shoot him. It's not even like you're trying to miss. Like you're trying to like shoot out some like supports to drop something.
Not only that, he throws grenades at him. He throws grenades at him. There's a lot of faith in this guy to just be able to dodge all this shit. Otherwise, Kaname's killed this guy like 100 times over.
No intentional killing. Well, Kaname kind of threw that one out the window instantly.
But yeah, surprises them with a machete and a submachine gun, but eventually Danjo closes the distance, and Kaname fakes a martyrdom, as I put it down, from the good old Call of Duty days. You know, he pulls out a grenade, he's like, I'm just going to suicide bomb. But it's a dud. He doesn't actually pull the pin on it. He uses a flashbang, gets away from him, and gains the upper hand, which I feel like this guy caved in very quickly, because Kaname didn't actually defeat him like he wanted. Kaname just avoided him, basically, and got away from him and pointed a gun at him again, and he was like, I acknowledge you as an ally, now let's continue the fight. I was like, I thought the point of this, he was supposed to beat you.
I guess he got enough to get a passing grade, and then he was like, let's just continue for fun. He was like, you did the bare minimum to impress me with your fighting abilities, so I guess we can be allied now.
I feel like they just sort of worded the win condition better, is all, in that instance, because I'm fine with them being like, you didn't die like a bitch in 2 seconds. Okay, fair enough, we could be allies. But the way they stated it earlier was, you need to beat me to, you know. But anyway, so yeah, they go to continue the fight. Sorry, go on.
Oh, there was one point in this fight where like Rain is like talking to Ryuji, I think, about what's happening in the fight, and then they're talking for ages, and they keep looking at Kaname, and Kaname is just like opening up with his submachine gun that has infinite ammo.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
For like a solid minute, he's just stood there going like, oh, Jesus Christ, what's happening here?
You don't see him reload once. He's just there constantly spraying, and this is a submachine gun as well, so they fire super quick and don't have a lot of ammo. So it's like, how? I give up. This show, man.
I'm going to assume that his ability, like he made the bullet 10% stronger on that other gun. He's made this one infinite ammo somehow.
Maybe just like as he keeps using up ammo, he keeps spawning ammo within the magazine. Oh Christ!
But that was one part of the show where I literally chuckled to myself. I was like, this is silly. Like they're like talking. Oh, he's added this to his arsenal. Oh yes, he went to this weapons dealer. Oh yes, we did this and that and that. And oh, your arm's been grown. I hope it's good. And he's just there going like in the background, just maybe a solid minute and a half just while they chat.
Yeah. It's it's silly. But yeah, okay. So that silliness aside, they go to continue the fight. But this is when the number 1 player arrives, whose last name I can't pronounce for the life of me. So looking at this name, the way it's spelt, it seems to be a Chinese name, because this definitely is not Japanese, because some of these letters aren't even fucking in the Japanese alphabet. And I don't know how to do Chinese pronunciations, so...
Don't they say she's from China? Or at least her family's from China? That seems to ring a bell. Like she's like a family of Chinese assassins or something.
They definitely say a clan of ancient assassins. I don't know if they specify from China, but we know she's not from Japan, because we know Shuka was the number 1 player in Japan, so...
Oh, I was going to ask that question, because like, when they were fighting, like, she's the number 1 player, and I was like, wait a second, isn't Shuka the number 1 player? But no, she's the number 1 worldwide player then, I guess?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the premise.
Their clan gets really overpowered.
Their clan is about to get very overpowered. Spoilers for the end of this episode. But yeah, no, so... I think I can pronounce her first name, Liu, so I'm just going to call her that, because her last name's like Xiaolan or something. I don't know. X's in China are weird. So Liu appears, the number 1 player. And then some like weird fake death stuff goes on. So she has an ability that they refer to as energy swords, and later Rain tries to explain as like an ancient technique where you simulate someone's death. And I'm like, bullshit, because apparently this isn't a D-game ability either. This is just like an ancient martial arts technique. I'm like, this is weird.
Like if it was something where she did you know in Legend of Korra when they do chi blocking and like they like do like a lot of rapid things, it's like, oh, it's an ability that they can use, non-benders can use against benders to like even the playing field. If it was something that looked kind of like that, instead it's like everything goes dark, everything focuses on the 2 people, and literal energy swords from heaven pierce their body, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? This is not a D game. This is not her superpower. Energy swords is somehow some sort of ancient Chinese martial art.
Yeah, no, it feels like a whole load of bullshit, which requires quite the suspension of disbelief. But it's like we're in a world where superpowers are a thing, so it's like, okay, I can allow it, I guess. But the superpowers are explained with D-game, whereas this just seems really out of place if it's not a D-game thing. If it was a D-game thing, I would have no problem with it. It's like we've seen people set themselves ablaze, flying through the air, making shit out of nothing with Kaname. It's like that all makes sense, but no, this is weird. But yeah, no. So basically, she walks onto the field and like basically make you feel a simulation of your death, which usually puts people into shock. She does that, and then she's like, "Hey, I've come to claim you." And then we cut away, and then we see. To be fair, I do love how pissy Shuka gets about all this. we cut away, and then there's just Ryuji being like, "I'm sorry, she took him. We looked, and he was gone. She made us experience our own deaths," and she's like, bullshit.
Shuka, consistently one of my favorite characters in this. She's very generic anime badass lady, but like I like generic anime badass lady, I guess.
Yeah, obsessive badass lady as well.
Yeah, obsessive screw loose badass lady. I can't at this moment give you all the examples, but I feel like I've seen that many times before. But
we will have.
I like that as a trope, so I'll accept it.
Yeah, and I just like Ryuji and Rain just be like, "I'm sorry, she's gone." And this is where Rain gives the explanation of the ancient martial arts technique, which I'm like, yeah, fuck off. So yeah, en route to wherever they're going, because we don't actually know, Liu tells Kaname that she wants him to work for her, and I'm like, why? Because she's like, we're from an ancient clan of assassins that spans back 20,000 years or something like that, and everything in history we've had a hand in. I'm like, why do you want Kaname? He can make stuff, and he basically won through flukes, I feel.
I feel like this is like the explanation she gives, which is fine enough, I guess, but like I feel like this is from like maybe in Darwin's game like season 3, when Kaname's proven himself in multiple battles. This lady comes out and like, hey, sire my children, please. I want a new generation of assassins, but he's won one thing. Basically, and she's like, well, I guess you're the greatest strategic mind of our generation. How can I have your babies, please? I'm like, what?
By the way, Chris isn't exaggerating. She literally says, I would be happy to bear your heir.
Like, this escalated. He's won one thing. Like, it is all great. He's won one thing. You're the number 1 player. I feel like he needs to have proved himself a bit more.
I can't discredit the manga or whatever this show originally was, because I've not read it. I don't know what the source is, but it does feel like they've skipped like three seasons of anime content, several volumes of the manga. It feels like they've just compressed it and taken out a lot in between.
He won one match, and now suddenly like people want his babies because he's so good at Darwin's game.
You working for me would make the ultimate assassin. I'm like, I mean, technically, yes. I mean, I'm okay with you seeing his potential from this, but treating him like he's already one of the greatest, it's like, no, he won one event. I kind of got lucky throughout it, especially at the end there. And also, he has if you've been watching that event, and assuming there's audio, I don't know, you should know his thing is not killing. He's not killed a single person yet.
It felt like this just escalated so quickly. From like, he's like, oh, he's setting up a new clan, and now the number 1 player in the world wants his babies. I'm like, okay. Also,
does this remind you of another situation, actually? Because there's the one character that springs to mind with this. Not that it's bullshit, just the situation.
If you mean Esdeath from...
there we go.
From, I forgot the name of the show now. I Can't Make a Kill. Then yes. But at least we had some time with Esdeath, and we learned that she had a few screws loose, and then she was like, I want babies from this one random high school student. This lady's just like, hey, I don't know who you are, I want your babies.
Oh, God. No, like... I feel like A Can't Make a Kill / Esdeath is the only reason that I kind of like this character, because I've seen this trope before and I'm like, okay, this will be fun. Just like with us and Shuka, I'm like, I've seen this trope before, this will be fun. But yeah, at least in A Can't Make a Kill, it's like, it made a bit more sense and we got to know the characters better. This one, she came out of nowhere and it's like, I want your babies. And it's like, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be fun. But this makes no sense.
Also on the trope thing, I do like Shuka being jealous and wanting to fight. Like, when he's like, oh, anyone who can get away from them is worth marrying, and then she's like, hey, I can't remember how it happens, but she's like, oh, and then he said he'd marry me, and Shuka's like, what? I'm like, yeah, anime tropes fight! Anime tropes fight!
The first thing that she says to him once they're able to talk again is like, did she molest you? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, Shuka. There are bigger concerns right now.
I like my anime trope, ladies, let's go!
Oh, God. This show is dull, but when it does its tropes, it puts in some fun ones. So we're like, yeah, okay. You get a pass with these. So yeah, she proposes all this to Kaname. Liu does, and like we said, oh sorry, not 20,000 years. Yeah, she's like from a family of assassins. Spans back 2,000 years. Had hands in every major plot in history. Yada yada yada. Generic backstory. And now their clan, named the Sunset Ravens, comes after them in a Humvee.
I'm just gonna say the Sunset Ravens is generic is not the word I want to use, but generic it's like
bland.
The most bland name that they could have created for this clan.
I did like that little moment though where Rain was like, "So why the Sunset Ravens?" And all three of them give a different answer. I liked that bit.
That was fun. I mean, this episode compared to last episode, a lot more fun for me.
Oh yeah, and it sets up a lot of potential fun as well. Like I'm pretty much, it's like, you know, I'm resigned. I've accepted the fact that this show's just going to be a dull generic show, but it could still have some fun tropes in there. So it's set up to have some fun stuff in the future. So yeah, they see that they're being tailed. Liu calls Shuka and tells Kaname to call them off because she knows that he knows that she's super powerful and could kill them all easily. And this is the bit where Chris is like, where Chris mentioned before, where Kaname's like, Shuka, don't do what she says, ram this thing off the road if you have to, and then proposes the deal to Liu, being like, okay, here's the plan. If you can escape those guys without killing anyone, I'll do whatever the fuck you want. And she's like, promise. And yeah, I like the fact that she goes along with it, and it's and we get a fun little action scene.
I like this action scene. I like the actions in general, but specifically, I guess I like it when my anime tropes fight, because I like Shuka versus this assassin. I like watching Shuka fight. I like Shuka's chain stuff. So when she was like, oh, you're keeping up and you've not done this, I was like, yeah, go Shuka.
I was also enjoying watching the Liu, the assassin, because you're watching a fight and you're like, you are trying so hard not to kill these people, because she's just basically, she rarely doesn't attack, she's just evading and blocking, and I'm like, you really want to go after these people because you know you could in 2 seconds. I enjoyed watching her restrain herself as well, which pretty much balanced out the field between her and Shuka, because one of them definitely would have died if not for Kaname's condition.
Yeah, Shuka probably definitely would have died, because I feel like Shuka was going at it. As hard as Shuka could go at it, she was going at it.
And it was fun watching the fight progress as well, because like eventually Shuka's like, right, I just need to disarm this lady. So she was gradually disarming her of her weapons and stuff, and yet she was still able to hold up her own. It was a fun fight. This show does have fun moments, despite how much we picked it apart. But yeah, eventually it gets to the point where like they've jammed like one of the what are those weapons called? I can't remember the weapons that Liu was wielding. It's like I can't remember who from like the Ninja Turtles wields them as well.
Trishula? Are they like little pitchfork looking knives? I can't remember what knives.
Yeah,
they're called Trishula, I do believe.
Okay, yeah.
I'm guessing that because in Dynasty Warriors 9, there's weapons that... Not 9, Dynasty Warriors 8, the good Dynasty Warriors game. They have weapons in that game that look like that, and they're called Trishula. So,
okay.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah, we'll go with that for now. But yeah, Liu tosses one of these into like the Humvee's wheels, but also the Humvee's just managing to keep up and is like trying to ram the limousine off the road. Kaname eventually gets the wine bottles, which, to be fair, we did see in the car previously because we saw Liu drinking wine, toss them out the window, and how they stop the fight is he tosses those out the window, Shuka grabs them, tosses them into the car, and Sui uses her power to expand all the liquid and basically detonate the car's wheel, which I was both like, cool, but at the same time I was like, hang on, if those tires are bulletproof, how the fuck is ice penetrating them? Because Rain previously shot them with a sniper rifle bullet. A sniper rifle. Like, if it was a pistol and it didn't penetrate, fair enough, and the ice did, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But this one, I'm like, it's a sniper rifle.
Did it burst the tire, or did they just like freeze the tire so it couldn't move?
It burst the tire. That tire was non-existent in the next shot. The wheel didn't come off. It was just the tire that detonated. And I was like, weird. I would have accepted it if they just like destroyed the wheel entirely. I'd been like, yeah, okay, but yeah, whatever. This is me being picky. Either way, they eventually get the car to stop and ram it off the road, and basically it's kind of a stalemate. But Liu is about to carry on the fight until I was genuinely surprised by this when her driver came out and was like, "We should stop now." He was just like, we really should stop now. The car's fucked. You could possibly do it, but not without killing anyone. And I'm like, you know what? I like you, dude. I don't know who you are, but I like you.
I liked his reasoning.
So,
and
yeah.
It was a fun way to end the fight for like... Well, at this point, I was like, oh, that's cool. We'll probably have clashes with this lady in the future, and it's going to be fun, and we'll have, she'll be like a reoccurring villain, and then the end
happens. Then the end happens.
Okay, that's weird.
So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, Chris, you're going to get a lot more of your, of our anime women clashing now.
Woo! Cat fight!
Because basically, she's like, fine, you win, goes into a little harumph, and then it's like, but I'm going to join your clan. And everyone's like, the fuck? Especially Shuka's like, fuck no. I mean, everyone's like, fuck no, apart from Kaname. But Kaname's reasoning, which I kind of get, but at the same time, I'm like, this still feels like a bad idea, because everyone's like, this is a terrible idea. It's like inviting a wolf into a chicken coop. And Kaname's like, true, but we know she can keep a promise. Which I'm like, I mean, fair enough. She did agree to your terms and stick with them.
She kept one promise.
But,
a liar can like tell the truth once in a while,
So it's like, doesn't make sense, but it's going to lead to a fun premise the next few episodes, because now we have her as part of the clan, so it's like, okay, let's see how this goes. Because literally the line she says is, I'm going to join your clan to make sure what was it? It was like, you're capable enough to handle me. And everyone, especially the girls, and especially Shuka's like, the fuck? What did we miss? And yeah, that's where we leave that episode off. So that was episodes 8 and 9 of Darwin's Game. So Chris, overall thoughts on these two episodes?
An episode I would say was slightly below the average, and an episode that I'd say was slightly above the average, so netting out to the average.
As per usual with the show.
The show was fine. I enjoy it. I specifically enjoyed the fights and the general back and forth of the second episode far more than the first episode, which I didn't like that much.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I feel like when Shuka's on screen fighting and doing her generic Shuka stuff, I'm like, cool. I enjoy the show way more when you're doing stuff. And
now we have two of them.
Now we've got two anime ladies fighting over the ability to have Kaname's babies. So this could only get more entertaining for me.
Unfortunately, there's only one more week left, I think. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, no, pretty much same from me. I'm slightly less down on episode 8, but either way, episode 8 was still down compared to episode 9, netting out to an average still. This show has, it's like, I keep saying it every week, it's just that tiny bit too dull. It's got a lot of good potential, but doesn't do it. And then we've had like generic backstories out the arse now, and it's just like, you're trying to be like a new hit show, but it's just you're not quite getting what makes these things good. You've got the beginnings of it, but you don't go with it. But there are still fun moments in there.
A little bit too bored to be fully absorbed in what's going on.
It is a shame, and I don't know if that's the show's fault, the manga's fault, or both. But either way, it's so close. It's close to being good. That's what makes it slightly disappointing. But okay, so that was episodes 8 and 9 of Darwin's Game. An hour and a half in now. No Gun's Life. Dear God. Oh boy, this is going to be a long one.
You're really going to have to refresh me on No Gun's Life.
I'm sure we'll get through No Gun's Life pretty quickly, as we always do, because we both always find No Gun's Life pretty dull.
I remember there was a terrorist bombing in one of the episodes. Well, an attempted terrorist bombing.
Right,
and a Russian man. There was a Russian man in one of them.
Was there?
I think so. Well, at least he had a Russian accent. Well, a Russian-ish accent in the dub.
I was going to say, are you thinking of Darwin's Game? Because in Darwin's Game, the leader of the boxing club and the person with the super healing ability, they're both Russian.
Well, he's definitely Russian. Well, in No Gun's Life, they say something like, "Oh, he's an immigrant," but in the dub, that translates to he's got a Eastern European accent. Basically.
Right, cult, right? Yeah, they never really elaborate where he's from in the sub, so yeah, I have no clue if he's Russian or not. But
in the dub, he sounded a bit Russian. Could have been from Kazakhstan or something like that, I guess.
Either way, Eastern European. But right, yeah, okay, so No Gun's Life, episodes 9 and 10. Episode 9, we open with a meeting between Cunningham, the company representative, / apparently chief of security, which you have a terrible chief of security.
Yeah, he's really bad at his job.
He could have killed Juzo and had the problem dealt with, but he didn't. And what I assume is one of the executives of the company, and he reports that they have successfully eliminated Mega Armed. However, the honest COO, is what he called her, isn't pleased with him, which I was like, good, you shouldn't be. Shit at what he does. And say they'll give him one last chance to redeem himself. From there, we learn that Wurzel. Oh, what's Wurzel? Oh, right. Wurzel's like the entity he was talking to. The entity he was talking to was like a giant statue with like multiple heads. It's a very weird communication system.
Yeah, what I was wondering about the giant statue. I was like, is it Baruran? Is it run by an AI with like multiple like personalities? Is it run by a giant robot with multiple personalities, or is this just a really convoluted way of having a Skype conference call between the CAO and all the others? I'm like, why can't we just have screens instead of having like a 50-foot statue?
Just do what Marvel does. Just have like executives in a darkened room.
That's one time where I'm like, the generic would have worked a lot better for me than whatever the hell is going on here, because I'm very confused what's happening.
No, it was just a very convoluted Skype call. And from there, we learned that Wurzel, that giant entity Skype call thing, is all the executive members of the company, and that they've always had a lot of power creating the extended for the war, which ended the war, and he even says that they might have even possibly started the war, but obviously we have nothing to go on really with that. It's just us being told about them, so either way, we're very powerful.
We're just told about them. They've never. The only time we've ever seen Baruran really do anything is through the nun lady and this buffoon, and then we're like, oh, and Baruran could have been manipulating human society for hundreds of years. I'm like, okay. The buffoons that we've seen couldn't be doing that, so.
Yeah. So we also learned that the symbol of the company represents the hand of the Workers' Guild that founded it, and also, I couldn't quite remember the term for it, but they said the Tree of Human Evolution, or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, something along those lines.
And after that, we cut to Juzo in his office on the phone, listening to the news reporting about Mega Arm's death as an accident, crushed by a bridge. It's like, yeah, okay. No one noticed the giant Mac fucking cannon going off in the city.
It was an accident, crushed by a bridge. That's exactly why there was no bridge anywhere and a giant bullet hole in the side of the car. That's how that happened, guys.
Nice cover there. I feel like even Darwin's Game did slightly better than you. When he hangs up, he mentions Olivier and how she had him worried, so we can assume from that she survived the Mac Cannon blast, which I'm calling bullshit on, but okay, we'll let it go.
I'm calling it's bullshit, but also at the same time, I'm glad she survived because she was an entertaining enough character in a show full of characters I do not find entertaining.
Yeah, it's like of all the characters to give the bullshit reasoning for why she survived, it's like I'll let you have that one. because I like her, kind of.
I like her better than everyone else. Well, actually, that's a lie. I like Mary better than anyone else, but she was like a second, maybe a distant second, but then everyone after her was like a distant third, so...
But yeah, okay, so when he hangs up, mentions that, then Mary and Tetsuro show up, inviting him for another hot pot, Juzo doing his usual, adding it on with other thing, blah, blah, blah. And then we have Tetsuro asking Juzo if he can help him with his work, which I kind of assumed would be a yes, because from the OP, every week I'm like, they work together, I think. But once again, Juzo's like, nope. Fucking Juzo, make some progress with this guy, because you keep going in circles. You keep being like, I want to work for you. No. I want to do something. No. And then he just gets you in trouble, and then you end up helping and working together anyway. Just cut the fat. Get to it. Train him.
Just establish the status quo, please.
We know where this is going. Just fucking do it. But yes, Juzo turns him down, saying he should find ways to defend himself, which, again, I'm not a fan of the turning down thing, but finding ways to defend yourself without using harmony, I'm like, okay, kind of makes sense, because he said he doesn't like being used like a tool, but he keeps using other people like tools. I'm like, yeah, find a way to defend yourself without using that, because you can't rely on it all the time. Also, your subbrain fries when you use it too much, so, again, makes sense. Learn how to defend yourself. Good point there, Juzo. You should probably help him with that.
Yeah, instead of being a moody little bitch, how about you help him? instead of like telling everyone to piss off when they're offering you a hot pot and smoking and looking out the window, do something. Be friends with someone. Be likable, goddammit.
But yeah, and then when they go to leave, Mary informs Juzo that she's moving in today, which I was just like, wait, what? And Juzo was like, wait, what?
For a second, I thought she meant literally into his house.
Like, that's what I thought as well.
She was just kind of like, I'm going to just move onto your couch. Cool.
But that's what I thought as well. It was, that's, to be fair, I think that's the way they were meant to word it, because hence what our/Juzo's reaction of like, wait, what? But no, after that, we see it's downstairs. She now has a workshop there, and basically it's explained that anti-extended activity has been increasing in her area, and basically it's just they've been feeling like more and more unwelcome / unsafe. So it's like, okay, fair enough, get out the area, makes sense.
I'm fine with it because it gets our characters to interact more.
Yes, and we like Mary, so it works. Then later we see Mary moving downstairs, blah blah. She's trying to find. Oh yeah, and when Tetsuro is getting maintenance work done by her, he asks her why she became a mechanic. And are we counting this one as a generic story as well? I feel like we are. She's like, I became a mechanic to look for someone, and I'm like, really? That's the explanation you go with? Also, how is you being a mechanic going to help you find this person who you also think is a mechanic that went off to war?
Yeah, maybe if you actually looked for them, like you'd find them. Oh, I'm a mechanic because I'm really searching. I'm searching for my long lost blah blah blah, and it's like, well, you're kind of you're counting on both of you just running into each other one day. You're not looking for anyone. You just have a job.
That backstory makes sense if she said. If her story was she joined the military as a mechanic to try and find them because the person she's looking for was a mechanic that went off and joined the military, I'd be like, okay, makes sense. Join the military to find someone who joined the military. Okay, but yeah, you are relying on the fact that they survived the war, aren't still in the military, and will hopefully wander into the Q-Say pit at some point and just randomly encounter you. You're terrible at looking for people.
Yeah, you're not really looking for them, are you, Mary? You're just kind of hoping you'll stumble into them one day.
Yeah. It's like, fair enough, boohoo, sob story, I'm looking for this person who's special to me. It's like, yeah, fair enough, generic, but I can look past that, but you're doing a terrible job. But yeah, okay. After that, a man named Colt faints outside the building, a regular patient of Mary's that got a legal extension so that he could help support his family with a job. This is the foreigner Chris was referring to earlier, who apparently in the dub is Russian.
Or at least Eastern Europe. I don't want to be I don't want to be too racist, maybe. So somewhere east of me, but in the European region.
I'm only saying apparently because in the sub you have no clue where he's from because it's just it's a Japanese voice actor, and I don't know what other it could have been someone putting on a Russian accent in Japanese. I don't know because it still sounded Japanese to me. Even with my teachings in Japanese, I don't know enough about Japan to discern accents, okay? So I can't tell if that was like a good Japanese Russian accent or if it was just a normal Japanese accent. From my perspective, he just seemed Japanese. They just said he was foreign, and that was it.
Well, in the dub, he certainly had some sort of European accent. It wasn't French or German, so I'll say Russian.
Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe. He's from there somewhere.
And yeah, this guy alludes to a big job that'll pay him enough to cover his debt to Mary, because basically all this time he's not been properly paying Mary. He's been paying her like random good parts that he's found, which he did so this time as well. When he leaves, he swipes some meds, but Tetsuro goes to stop him.
There was a joke that actually kind of landed for me in here. Where,
the cup size.
Yeah, the cup size. Well, hey, it's a weird, lewd joke, whatever. But like usually, if in an anime, like, oh, what are you working with? There's that an A cup. The anime girl will be like, no, I've got big tits, and they'd be embarrassed. But she's like, nah, I've got B cup, almost C cup. Just got a B cup there. I'm like, you go, Mary, embrace your breast size.
It didn't actually feel too forced because like she's just moved in. Although it was weird that she only had like the one pair of underwear out hanging about. It's like, why only that? Like if you had like a rack of washing, I'd be like, fair enough.
I mean, everybody looks very dirty in this universe. And also later when they're squatting in like a trash can, she's like Tetsuro's like, it smells. She's like, I showered like 3 days ago. I'm like, okay.
That's the kind of world we're in.
That's the kind of world we live in. Everyone's filthy.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, that stinks so much. Not even talking about the bin. It's people in general. I've smelt myself without a shower for like 2 days, and that's awful.
I can miss 1 day of showering and be alright, but if I get to the second day, I feel terrible. And I smell terrible probably too.
But right, okay, so Tetsuro notices him swiping the meds. He goes to stop him and temporarily does use harmony, but then he's counterattacked, and it seems to cause some like weird sort of flashback. It's like when you hit something to get it working again. He gets hit in the head and he's like, flashback.
I think that's how it works like a lot of the time in shows. I'm like, that's not how memory loss works.
In fact, it should increase your memory loss.
You can't get in the head and get hit in the head and remember more.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not a medical professional. There might be instances where that's happened, but I feel like the general rule is you get hit in the head, you forget shit, not you remember shit. But yes, and then he kind of has a nice chat with Colt, because Colt just seems like a normal guy, and he's like, hey, there's a job, 3:00 tomorrow at the Memorial Park. If you want to help, join me there.
I don't know why you'd assume this boy would want to help with his terrorist activities, but
neither do I. Like if it had been a normal job, then sure, but even then, it's like, what indicates that this boy wants a job?
Yeah, but also, like, what indicates that your job needs more than you? You seem to have already, like, planned it out pretty, like, accurately to where you'll do this, and then you'll jump over there, and then they'll be in this train cart, and then you do this, and, like...
Also, Tetsuro gets a bit screwed in this deal, because he's made a deal with a guy to do this job who's going to pay him a lot so that his family can live. He won't know anything about Tetsuro, so Tetsuro just won't be getting paid, I assume. He's just to be known as a terrorist.
Hey, do you want to just be a terrorist today? Like, okay, I guess.
But yeah, okay, so that happens, and then we end the episode learning that the arm Colt gave Mary was made by the person she's looking for, who happens to be her big brother, Victor. And Juzo's offered a job to catch a member of the anti-extended movement, and is given a photo which has a picture of Colt in it, alluding to the terrorist activities.
Throughout this whole episode, maybe because I just really wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been, I could not really figure out what Juzo was doing. It was like I'd be watching the main plot, like, okay, cool, I'm following whatever Mary and Tetsu are up to, and then cut back to Juzo. I'd be like, what are you doing again? Where are you? Who are you looking? Why are you looking for them?
If you're talking about episode 9, he wasn't doing like anything at all. In fact, he was barely in the episode. It was mostly Mary and Tetsuro focused. Both these episodes were, actually.
They both were, but occasionally we go back to like Juzo and he's like rescuing a lady from this man in like a club or something, and then at the end of the episode he finds the person he's looking for, and I was like, I don't know who you're looking for. To be honest. we occasionally come back to what you're doing, and I'm like, cool. I guess it was just like to get him out of the way, so like it is
much more interesting focusing on Mary and Tetsuro.
I'm assuming it was more just to get him out of the way so that he couldn't help them in their main plot, because I feel like he would have helped out. Like he could have solved the problem a little easier than they have it, but at the same time, you could have just like said, "Oh, he's off doing another job," and pushed him away instead of having him. I think something like once or twice we go back to him and he's like investigating whatever he's investigating. I'm like, oh, we didn't need this.
Yeah, they could have just left it until like the end of the episode and be like, hey, he's resolved it. Because I mean, that's pretty much how you do your mysteries anyway. Plus, it wasn't a mystery, it was literally just apprehend this guy. So it's not like we really need to see it. It's like, we know we can get the guy. He looks like a regular human. Not Tetsuro, Juzo's Juzo. I feel like he'll be fine. I feel like he'll get him.
But then again, it could be that it all played into the main plot in some other way and I was just like stupid. So, I don't know.
Well, thankfully, there's only one more week left of this show, so we'll find out next week. But yeah, okay, so that was episode 9. Episode 10, we open seeing Colt with his younger siblings, his younger sisters, giving them a nice full meal, promising them that they'll get food regularly from tomorrow onwards. Sure, he's going to have a happy ending when you give me that opening.
Yeah, I'm sure this is all going to work out well. In fact, actually, it works out so poorly that they're way worse off at the end of this episode than like even at the beginning. Not only don't they get that money and all the food, he's also dead, so they're not going to get any money or food from this point onwards.
Because their mother is currently not comatose, but can't work either. So, they're just fucked. Well done, dude. So after the OP, we see Tetsuro and Mary scouting out the area Colt told them about at 3 o'clock. This thing Chris mentioned before, where they're both in the bin, in a quite the compromising position, considering Tetsuro's just lying underneath Mary, and also is kind of useless in there. Why is he there?
No idea.
Anyway, but they don't see anything indicating a job or suspicious activity, because at that point in time, it's the memorial service for Mega Harmed, so it's like, why is there a job here at 3 o'clock? Nothing weird seems to be going on. But as soon as they go to leave, they're spotted by like a random guard, but then just as that happens, an explosion goes off, and the guard gets distracted, and Tetsuro uses Harmony, and they're like, well, shit, there's an explosion. We should probably go investigate that. And he zooms in and enhances and sees Colt flying over the explosion.
Question, are these guards like sentient human beings who have been extended, or are they just like robots?
I don't know. They look like just robot. This show really needs to determine what an extended actually is, because, again, we bring this up pretty much every time Juzo's in a fight, but it's like, you're saying he's extended. Okay, I can kind of see his human parts, but every time he seems to like get stabbed through the chest and shit, he seems fine. So, and we've seen multiple extended that look like just pure robots, I think. Yeah. I don't get how cyborgs work in this world.
The reason I'm asking about this guard, because Tetsuro mind controls him, and then like goes off to fight and help the other. Like
that's a good point. He's just got an innocent guy killed if it's an actual guy.
Yeah, that guy is dead at the end of this. Like this robot is fucked completely. It's gone.
He gets like ripped in half at one point. Yeah, no, he's definitely. I never thought about that. Jesus. I'm gonna hope that was a robot. I'm gonna hope that was just a robot.
But like at one point when they were when he was fighting as that robot helping the dude, like the people the robot works for were like, you've betrayed us then. Are you really blaming? Like, so like the robot has free will? Is this a person or not? Like, how do you like condemn someone to death?
I can't quite remember the rules, but doesn't Harmony allow him to basically hijack someone's sub-brain? And a sub-brain is only a thing used in Extended, so I was like, fuck it, I have to assume this is a guy. Yeah,
and not only that, when he controlled Juzo was aware of what Tetsuro was doing the whole time. Yeah. Like, Juzo was still in there. So I can only imagine that there's a poor soul trapped inside this extended body as, like, Tetsuro gets his body ripped in half and, like, shot. He's like, please, no, I'm dying. And, like, Tetsuro's just killing him.
And he must be dead at the end of the episode. Fucking hell. God damn, Tetsuro. You're a cunt. But yeah, okay, so Mary and Tetsuro move to investigate. Meanwhile, we cut to Juzo dealing with the man shown in the picture previously, who informs him he's just a middleman who introduced people to the activist group. And then we cut away, and Colt finds Mary and Tetsuro thinking that the robot's holding them hostage. But then he's like, hey, no, it's me. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be keeping Harmony on the down low, you idiot? But anyway, But yeah, so he explains that his job is to kill the company officials at the memorial ceremony by bombing their evacuation train after causing a disturbance at the ceremony. Okay. I mean, nothing too wrong with the plan. Makes sense. You cause a disturbance, they get evacuated. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that, actually.
I do have to ask, how does he know which train they're going to go into?
Because apparently.
He knows their schedule pretty well, apart from the fact that they changed their schedule a little bit. But I'm like, where are you getting your information from? Very well-informed terrorists.
I mean, I can suspend my disbelief and just assume that they did their research, their intel on this. I'm fine with their plan as is. I feel like he should have been more aware of backups though, because as he swiftly finds out, it goes horribly wrong for him. So yeah, Tetsuro tries to stop him. The detonator is shot by one of the company guards. So Colt boards the train because the train shoots off to activate it manually, and Mary tells Tetsuro to go after him. And then we don't really see Mary until the end of the episode now. On the train, Colt successfully activates the bomb timer, but he and Tetsuro are quickly subdued because there's like an elite guard there who Tetsuro was going to try and hold off, but like we said, gets like ripped in half by the guy.
While the sentient brain of whoever's body that was inside is like, no, save me.
And generic elite guy's like, aha, but you see, we did a bait and switch. This train's full of innocent orphans who were singing at the ceremony. Meanwhile, the officials are back on the cart, back at the base.
It's what happens in the episode, but it's like that really reminded me of like in Toy Story, in like when Andy's playing with the toys, and like the story's just like super ridiculous. Like, haha, no, this train is filled with innocent orphans. Like this is very silly. It's very silly.
It's especially the orphans thing as well. So I can buy you gathering around and rounding up the people who were protesting outside and shoving them on this train to die. It's like, yeah, fair enough. But it's like the orphans as well. Really, we're with the orphans cliche.
But what about the orphans?
What about the children?
Think of the children.
Yeah, I can see that now. That's just made the scene funny for me now. Thank you, Chris. I got some enjoyment out of this. Yeah, so they disconnect the train with the bomb on to let all the innocents die. Colt jumps off to go disarm it. He gets shot to shit. So Tetsuro, I don't know, like mega powers up his harmony or something, and jumps across, tosses the bomb out, dives off the train with Colt, and the bomb goes off in midair, saving the innocents. The bad guy gets away naturally, and eventually Mary comes along and finds them. I don't quite get how this works. So basically, they find him. He's super damaged, and he's like, "Hey, can you?" Well, first of all, Mary naturally asks, like, "Hey, what the fuck's with his arm? It was made by my brother." And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I just found that on the black market. Sorry." So that's out the way. Kind of a dead end with that lead. But Juzo will get on that apparently because we get a thing at the end of the episode regarding her brother. And yeah, again, I don't quite get how this works, because then Colt asks Tetsuro, being like, "Hey, can you use your thing to walk me home, because I can't use my legs anymore?" And I'm like, okay, fair enough, that kind of makes sense, but how are you still conscious and talking to him whilst he's controlling you?
I mean, not only if the legs are so fucked that you can't walk, how can he walk them? Like, I don't understand that part, but...
It was mainly just because he was fully conscious and just talking to Tetsuro whilst he was having his legs controlled. I'm like, I thought the whole point of Tetsuro's thing was he controls your whole body. Anyway,
I do not know. I had no answers, I'm afraid.
I don't know, and honestly, I don't care. We're nearing the end of the episode, and I want to get on to ReZero. So they walk him home, and he gets to look at his sisters one last time through the window, who are like getting all nice and prettied up, and then he dies on his feet, or on his knees rather, and Mary's like, "Oh shit," and we get like a dramatic freeze frame, and I'm like, well, this guy just fucked his family over.
I'm like, we're meant to feel something, and I just felt nothing. Like, they're like, "Oh no," and I was like, cool.
I kind of feel bad for the sisters, but apart from that, it's like, yeah, Colt, you're just a bit of an idiot. Like, you're a man in desperation, doing desperate things, and it's like, I should care for you. If you were in a better show, I probably would. Because Colt seemed like a nice character. I got nothing against the character.
He seems alright.
For the time he was on screen, he seemed like a decent dude.
I kind of wish he'd been introduced earlier. Like, maybe like 3 or 4 episodes ago, like, oh, he keeps coming in every now and again, or he's a background character.
More development, yeah.
And then we're like, oh no, he's dead. The way it works is like, oh, there's a guy, he's a terrorist, he's dead. I'm like, okay. I guess you had a sympathetic backstory. I feel sorry for your sisters now, who are essentially orphaned.
They're probably gonna die.
Probably gonna starve to death now, because they can't fend for themselves. And the only other breadwinner is a coma.
But yeah. So, yeah, that happens. That ends Mary and Tetsuro's episodes, basically. Then we cut back to Juzo, who hands over the suspect he captured earlier to the security bureau who hired him for this job. And the suspect tells Juzo that it was Victor that who sent him. So I can only assume that they specifically named him to be like, Mary's looking for Victor. Victor's her big brother. And now Victor apparently is the bad guy. What?
Dun dun dun.
And apparently is looking forward to seeing Juzo again. So presumably that means Juzo knows Mary's big brother. Which, at this point in time, I'm like, so, Mary, do you know that Juzo knows your big brother? Because if not, I feel like you should have asked the detective at some point, hey, do you know anything about my big brother who went off to war because you were a war machine?
It was a hell of a coincidence, but doesn't Juzo not have any memories from before he was a gun head?
He doesn't have any memories of not being extended, no. So if that's the case, then I can allow it. But I feel like Mary should have at least asked. Also, he seemed, because he stood there in shock and dropped his cigarette, so he recognizes the name Victor. He definitely recognizes the name.
True. I mean, I'm assuming Victor's the guy who made the gun heads or something like that.
But to be fair, he might not recognize him from the war. He might recognize him because he's had previous encounters with him as a bad guy, maybe. So you have some leeway, sure. But I feel like Mary should have asked.
Yeah, I feel like I have this deep mystery that's affected my whole life to the point where I've moulded my very existence around it. I know a detective. Let's not bother him with it.
Who was once off at the same war.
Let's not bother the one person who might be able to solve this for us.
Okay. But yeah, and then we finish the episode with Juzo returning to find his home broken into, where we see the company lady from the previous episode who was with the gunhead that shot Mega Armed there waiting for him. And that's where we leave off. So episodes 9 and 10 of No Gun's Life. What did we think, Krishna? As we reach 2 hour mark.
I have so little to say about it, really. It existed. I watched it. There we go. The show is not bad. It's just not good. It's not bad. It's just a bit meh.
Mother's Basement. You recommended this show, and I usually like your recommendations. Literally, pretty much every recommendation that guy has made to me, I've been like, I like this show. But this one has just been dropped like a lead balloon. Like, what the fuck? How? Why did you like this show so much? People who like this show, please tell us why. We don't hate it. We're just very on it. It keeps trying to get emotions out of us and it's not working. And also, it definitely doesn't work as a mystery show because it's just, no.
It failed to sell itself to me early on and it's just kind of muddled along since.
The only thing it has going for me at the moment is its art style, because I quite like the art style and the animation. I know you don't, but I quite like it. Apart from that, and the odd character that we like, because like I said, Colt, decent character. Mary, like quite a lot. Tetsuro, he's a bit of a brat. Juzo's generic as fuck. Generic noir guy. Loner guy. Oh, pardon me. Yeah. Again, it's like Darwin's Game. It has its positives and it has potential, but it goes nowhere with it, even less than Darwin's Game does, which is why we like it less.
I prefer Darwin's Game's premise a bit more than this one, but that's more personal preference.
I guess we'll be wary of this kind of show in the future. But we gotta try new things, hence why Kuroko's Basketball became one of our favourite shows of all time.
True. Well, my favourite anime is at any rate.
So, yeah, okay. So, a resounding meh on the slight negative side, as per usual, with No Gun's Life. We've skipped through that plot in a good half an hour to 20 minutes, so let's move on to a show that we like, at least on a regular basis. I obviously can't speak for whether you liked these 2 episodes or not, but generally we tend to finish on a high note with the Anime Talk Show on ReZero Episode 5 of the Director's Cut. Any initial impressions before we go in?
I really liked these episodes. They were fun.
Okay, I thought so too. So let's get into the plot and try and wrap this up. It appears it's going to be 2.5 hours, so whatever you've been doing, if you stuck around this long, thank you very much. If you skipped ahead, specifically to ReZero, probably a wise choice. But yeah, okay, so we opened with Subaru waking up and then confirming his theory about Rem and Ram holding his hands, because he holds their hands again. It's like, yep, nope, that was definitely you two. Naturally, they're both like, what the fuck? That was weird. You're a weird man. And you hurl their usual set of insults at him. I love that duo.
They're fun.
And then Amelia arrives to check out what's going on. And once again, at breakfast, Subaru's like, I want to work for you. So we're going back to that route of things.
The more fun route of things.
Most definitely. Much less depressing. On his first day, Puck tells Subaru about magic types. There's a lot of stuff in these episodes I like because they explain a lot as well. He tells him about magic types and magic users. He's like, okay, so there are magic users and there are spirit users. Amelia is a spirit user. She doesn't actually wield magic. She summons a spirit who helps her channel magic. And then there's magic users who are just like normal wizards. And there are different types of magic. We have earth, water, air, and fire. I was like, oh, cool, it's Avatar. And then he went, oh, also there's two more, shadow and light. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, you went too far, show.
I had Subaru's reaction. I was like, hang on, you took... Because basically the way we find out about the bonus too is Puck's like, I can tell you... Because apparently everyone has magical affinity. And you're attuned to one type of magic. So Puck's like, I can tell you which type you are if you want. And he's like, okay, tell me, which one am I? Out of these 4 elements. Then Puck goes, oh, you're shadow. And he's like, the fuck? You left that one out before.
I guess Puck overlooked the rare ones. He was like, no, I can just not talk about these ones. It never comes up. And then he was proven wrong.
So yeah, apparently Subaru is a rare type. Apparently, I'm assuming both light and shadow are rare, seeing as they weren't mentioned. But at least we know shadow type is rare, which is basically an illusionist / debuff magic, is essentially what that is. So Puck attempts to instruct Subaru on the basics of magic, but it seems he has very poor control over his gate. That the gate is the thing that you use to like channel your magic, because he just blows up in a cloud of smoke.
To be fair, he tried once, and then they were like, oh yeah, I know you're shit at this. I'm like, well, it was his first go.
It was his first go, and he expelled all of his mana at once, which this show has told us multiple times now is very dangerous and very tiring. If you have no mana, you die. I like how mana is just an essential thing for living in this show, because usually when it comes to magic users, it's just like, okay, I've used all my mana, I'm tired for the day, I can't do much else. In this show, it's you use your mana, you die. It's like, okay, essential resource, good to know. And then he's very fatigued from this. Amelia gives him something called, I think it was a Brocco fruit, I've got written here, which gets him back on his feet. And then the first day ends with Rem and Roswell, sorry, not Rem, Ram, because my writing's too damn small. Ram and Roswell meeting again, being like, yeah, Subaru's incompetent, but he's surprisingly quick-witted. We'll keep an eye on him. So, and even Roswell's like, just tell your sister to hold off. We'll see where this goes. It's like, okay, this is going slightly better, possibly.
Yeah, he's unlikely to get murdered by then. I like how after all these times and all these retries and all these learnings, he's still incompetent at housework, apparently.
He's not completely incompetent now, though. I think
he can peel a potato now.
Yeah. I feel like if he actually went back and watched like the first time they had this meeting where she was summing up his abilities to Oswald, I feel like she definitely said something different, because he's gone up slightly. He's not like amazing now, but he's just gone up slightly. But yeah, okay. So the next morning, Subaru seems stupid hyper and playful, and has a nice little back and forth with Puck over Amelia's affections, which Amelia swiftly puts an end to. It's like, you two need to stop this now. This is getting weird. And then Subaru heads off to perform his duties. Meanwhile, Puck and Amelia just kind of looking at him very concerned. Her just being like, I have a bad feeling about this, and Puck being like, he seems very confused. I feel like he's gonna wear himself out. And his hyperactivity goes on all day, and it's clear to people around him are concerned and that something's wrong with him. And at one point he starts to feel sick, but carries on working until eventually he does actually throw up, and then Amelia sits him down, has him rest in her lap, and starts questioning him as to what's wrong, until eventually he just breaks down and starts crying his eyes out and eventually falls asleep. Which I thought was a nice little moment.
A nice scene. I swear Amelia's boobs got way bigger just for this scene. When his head's down there and he looks up, and like, her boobs seem like 15 times bigger than usual, but whatever.
It's just perspective. It's just perspective.
It's all perspective. They totally didn't do anything. No, it's a nice scene, a very human scene.
Oh yeah, it's a very nice scene. She's literally just like sat there patting his head, just asking him, it's like, what's wrong? Has it been hurt? That seems like a weird use of wisdom now, but okay. Has it been difficult? What's wrong? And eventually, like we said, it just starts breaking down and starts shouting things about how difficult things have been for him and stuff. And like, it's a very nice scene. That's all I can say about it. Makes completely no sense from Amelia's perspective, because she's just like, what the fuck happened to this guy? She must be thinking that he has like the most tragic backstory or something now, because in the few days that he's had with her, none of this went down.
I mean, she doesn't even really say anything. She's like, oh, that's okay. That's right. All right. He's like, everything sucks. I've died 1,000 times. Like, yes. Anything more? Like, I'd be asking questions. I'm also happy it worked out this way, because from when I read the episode every week after I finish the episodes we've watched, I read the next episode descriptions just to have a feeling of where things are going, because I want to watch more, but I can't. So the description of this one, it was like, something's wrong with Subaru, and he like Amelia can't stand the sight of him, and I was like, oh no, we're going to have another bad iteration here. But instead it turned out as a nice, touching human moment.
Aye. So after that, at night, Rem finds the pair, and Subaru is asleep, like I said, on Minnie's lap, and Ren goes to leave, and another nice little touch where it was a weird way of putting it. It was kind of like a pet, having a pet or a child, because she looks at Rem and goes, "He's a good boy."
Yeah, I found that kind of creepy, to be honest.
I was like, oh, but at the same time I was like, wait, that's weird.
Also in my head I was like, Subaru, you've been thermally friend-zoned.
She definitely sees you as like a child.
Yeah,
technically you are, but
you're not going into this anime lady's pants.
I've also got additional notes because I missed a bit from earlier. In one of these 2 days, because I can't remember which, Amelia asks Beatrice about curses again, and she says there's no way to stop one that's been activated, but before then it's just a normal spell which can be removed. And she also tells him a little bit about the Witch of Envy, that she's okay. This is again, I'm like, I like this episode quite a lot because there's a lot of lore dub, but it doesn't feel like a dub because again we're learning to get along with Subaru at a gradual pace. And apparently the Witch of Envy is the only witch in the world. Apparently there used to be 6 more because apparently the witches represented all the sins, but they say she ate them all, which I'm like, okay. I mean, this is fairy tale details, so I'll let that go.
Is this literal? Is she a cannibal, or is this metaphorical? Or are they spirits? Or are they spirits or something that she just kind of like absorbed the other ones?
Yeah, each representing sin, she consumed the rest, and she's a half elf with silver hair, hence why. I say hence why. It still doesn't quite make sense in my mind why Amelia initially told Subaru that her name was Satala, but whatever.
It would be like if someone with a Hitler mustache was walking around and someone was like, "What's your name?" and they were like, "I'm Hitler." Like, you don't want to say that in combination with the other one, my dude. You just don't want to.
Especially if you're white and from Germany.
Don't do that.
Wait, sorry, my brain's blanking. Was he German or Austrian?
He was Austrian.
Yeah, okay.
But became a German citizen.
Because I was going to say, there's a detail there that people always get wrong, and I can't remember which way around it is.
He was Chancellor of Germany, but he was originally Austrian.
Okay, so that night, I assume, Subaru asks Beatrice if she can detect curses, and she says yes. And also, there's a prerequisite to place them, which is physical contact, and Subaru pieces together, quite reasonably so, that it must have been someone from the village who cursed him/Rem, because when he didn't go to the village, Rem went on her own and got the curse and died in that previous life. So I was like, nice detective work there, Subaru. All right. That's obviously ruling out anyone in the mansion being a suspect, because otherwise that plan falls apart.
I mean, when we learn who is cursing them, what is cursing them, it doesn't quite make sense that she would have got cursed in that same way, because she didn't really seem interested in interacting with that whole thing.
Yeah, but, that did seem a bit weird to me as well, but we'll address that when we reveal it. But no, yeah, I did find that a bit odd as well. It's like, she didn't seem like the type to... okay, I'll look over at this once show. And yeah, the next day after greeting Amelia, Subaru makes... what on earth does that say, dear? Makes plans with Rem and Ram to go shopping in the village that day instead of tomorrow like they originally do. So I assume Subaru's plan is like, basically get there, get the curse, and deal with it as soon as possible, as opposed to leaving it to possibly die on the 5th day again, or was it the 4th day? Either way.
I'm not sure why he had to change it to the 4th day. I mean, other than, as you said, just get out of the way with quicker. I don't see a practical reason why he'd have to do it that day, unless he's really worried about the villagers being in danger.
True. That, and to be fair, from his perspective, I would want to find out who's doing the curse as soon as possible. Plus, it could be a prerequisite in that maybe the person who did the curse... again, I know we know what we know, but at this point in time, assuming the person who did curse, maybe they weren't on the village that day, so maybe he might have not been cursed, gone back the next day, seen someone else and been like, it was you. But yeah, so that technically ends the first episode. What was originally the first episode. So they're going on to the second half of that. We open in the village with Subaru teaching the villagers radio calisthenics, which I don't know why. Something about it I find funny. Because Rem and I'm just like, what are you doing? It's like, radio calisthenics. Like, what the fuck's a radio?
I like how he's super charismatic, and everyone in the village is like, yes, I want to touch this boy. I want to touch him, please.
It's not in that weird way. Get your minds out of gutter.
But if
to be fair, want to slap him
way,
on his ass.
That old lady definitely wanted some.
It's an old lady. I can understand that. But yeah, no. So yeah, I kind of liked that thing as well, though, where it's just like, excellent, my plan has gone perfectly. Because after he's been told the prerequisite is someone has to touch you to place the curse, his plan was basically, I need to somehow get everyone in the village to touch me. I'm surprised it worked, but you know what? I can leave it be, because again, he is very charismatic and happy-go-lucky, and it's just it's believable enough. I can let it slide.
I mean, it jives with the world well enough. I didn't really have much of a problem with it.
Same. And afterwards, the children take him to see the puppy again, which bites him again. I'm just like, dude, give up on stroking that fucking puppy.
Yeah.
You've had like 5 lives now, but that thing's bit you. Stop it.
And it was also the way they introduced this puppy. Like as soon as we're like, we're going to go see the puppy, I was like, the puppy is the one doing it. like instantly in my brain when it was like, oh yeah, I did this last. I haven't done this time. I've got to go pet this puppy. I'm like, it's the puppy boy. You go for it. The puppy is not a good boy.
I actually didn't click together because, again, it's been ages since I've seen the show, but my brain didn't immediately go puppy. My brain was legitimately thinking, I was like, it's one of the villagers. Which one, I wonder? But then because of the strange lack of focus on the villagers, apart from like the last 3 that touched him, I was like, okay, so I'm assuming it's one of those 3. I did not put it together that it was the goddamn dogs for some reason.
It was their insistence on getting this. It wasn't just like the dog was there with all the others. They were like, we're going to have to go see this dog in this specific place. I was like, you guys are putting a bit too much emphasis on the dog. It's the dog. It's doing it.
Fair enough. Also, there's something I want to address here, which I did have a theory at this point, not regarding who was doing the cursing, but again, the puppy bites him, and in brackets here I've put because the kids comment that the puppy only seems to dislike Subaru, so my brain was like, because of the Witch of Envy thing, right? I'm assuming it's that, because that's like one of the few unique things about Subaru in this world in particular. Everyone seems to know that he has like the stench of the Witch of Envy. So my brain was like, okay. But then that theory gets tossed out the window because later on, when they come back to the village, and Rem's like, oh yeah, they're mar beasts. They're made by the Witch of Envy. I was like, wait, what? Why does it keep biting? Wouldn't it like Subaru more? Or do they hate the Witch of Envy as well now?
I do not know, but yeah, you'd assume if he smells of the person who created them, maybe they just hate existence. Just like I hate the Witch of Envy. God damn it.
Maybe, I don't know. Again, this is just me thinking too much into it, but this isn't me like trying to pick the show apart. This is because I'm watching it on a second viewing, so it's just like, I have questions about the world I want answered. But yeah, okay, so upon returning to the mansion, gotta stop extending those A's, Dion. I know we're British, but Roswell leaves in formal attire, which was, to be fair, strange. So I was like, you look normal.
It did stand out. It catches the attention.
After receiving some unsettling news, and leaves the 3 of them in charge of the mansion / Amelia's safety, after which Subaru goes to see Beatrice to confirm if the curse has been placed on him.
Just one note on Roswell. He flies away like Superman.
Speed of sound.
The speed of sound.
Yeah.
He just like bounds away and just like zooms into the distance in Athentos. I'm like, Jesus Christ. This guy has a power level I don't understand.
I had the same reaction to Subaru. I was like, the fuck? He could fly? That's cool. What the fuck? Don't piss him off.
Note to self, don't cross this man.
I mean, I feel like he got that note in his last life when the man turned with like 8 fireballs in his hands.
True.
But yes, okay, so yeah, he goes to see Beatrice, and she's like, okay, when I remove the curse, we'll see where it was placed on you. And Subaru was like, I made sure everyone touched me in a different spot. I'm like, okay, that seems a bit convenient, but whatever. It doesn't matter anyway, because when they remove the curse, they see it's from the bite mark. So it's like, oh shit, the dog. Those kids keep playing with that dog. I need to go save those kids before the dog does something to them. So he immediately rushes off after thinking, Oh, sorry. He guilts Beatrice into removing the curse first, because for some reason Beatrice is like, I don't want to remove the curse. Why should I have to do that? He's like, I'll just guilt trip you with Puck.
It also didn't seem like it cost her much effort.
Exactly.
Like he seems very intent that being friends. Like he likes her and they hang out and whatnot. But she would have just let him die. if it wasn't for his wrangling, he would have just died.
I don't know. I do kind of like her just constant resistance to being around him, but at the same time, it's like, that seems like a dick move.
I mean, she obviously likes him. She's friendly with him. I'm sure she would have done it. Well, in the other life, she was like, without barely even knowing him, she's like, I'll protect you from whatever. So I'm assuming that she would have done it anyway. But it did seem a bit out of, like, she was like, no, I'll just let you die, why not? I suppose.
I do. I always like his way of forcing her to helping him anyway. It's just like, I'll tell Puck, and she's like, Puck wouldn't care about you. It's like, no, but Amelia cares about me. And if Amelia's sad, then Puck's sad, and that'll make you sad. And it's like, fuck! But yeah, okay, so she removes it, then he rushes off to Rem, and Ram's like, hey, we need to go to the village and deal with that. And Rem's like, should we? It's like, wow, damn, Rem, a bit harsh. And Ram's like, yeah, go on. Ram's just chill.
I do like their reasoning. They're like, maybe it's a trap to get at Amelia, so why should we go help them? We should stay here. I get the reasoning, but at the same time, the children are dying.
It's like, come on, you saw those kids. You really want them to die? And to be fair, they account for this. They're like, okay, Ram, stay with Amelia. Rem and I will go check this out. It's like, we still plan so far. Because we know it's not like Amelia's like a damsel in distress. She has powers, so her and Ram, if she's as powerful as Rem, I think they'll be fine. Unless an army is sent to the mansion. So yeah, when they arrive...
Even then, at that point, if she's more powerful or at least the same level as her sister, that army better watch out, because they will cleave you in twain in seconds.
We'll get to it. We're getting there. We're nearly there. So when they arrive at the village, they see the villagers out and about looking for the children, saying that they've gone missing. Subaru immediately rushes off to where the dogs were before, and I can't believe it takes that long for because they're like. He's scanning the forest and he sees the footprints, and Rem's like, hey, there's a break in your magical barrier. And I'm like, that should have been very obvious to you villagers, because it's like, you have gems lined up across the village and one of them's not lit.
I feel like someone should be inspecting these on the regular, you know?
So basically, like I said, there's a magic barrier around the village that's being held up by like gemstones marked around. One of them's down. Rem's like, hey, that's down. And so Subaru naturally is like, tells the villager who followed them, is like, go get the rest of them. They're this way. And then he goes off. Then the villager fucks off, and Subaru goes to go in, and Rem's like, hang on, we should probably wait for the rest. And Subaru's like, yeah, but we don't know how long they're going to be, and I've made a promise for those kids to survive. And we get a nice little moment. It's like, he is being rash, yes, but I do like Subaru's reasoning. It's like, okay, they're going to take a while, and here's this kid's name and what he wants to do in the future. This kid's name, not what they want to do in the future. And he lists off all the names, and it's like, I also made a promise to do calisthenics with them tomorrow. I'm keeping that promise. I'm going to go get them now. Help me.
I like the reasoning. I like the character, and I like his motivations. It wouldn't have taken that long for the villagers to get there. Like, he could have gone with backup.
Yeah, he could have, but it doesn't feel jarring because it's within his character as established so far, and it's a nice little moment, and even Rem's like, all right, and pretends to like feign going on with him, being like, I'm supposed to keep an eye on you, so I'll tag along. And then they swiftly find the kids, fair enough, following their footprints, and plus Rem seems to have like an unusually good sense as well. She's like, I smell people. I'm like, okay, weird detail. And they find the kids, and they've all been bitten by the dogs, so they've all have the curse. And Rem's like, I don't have the skill to deal with this, so I'll just use healing magic to comfort them until the villagers arrive, and we can get either Ram or Beatrice down here. But then one of the kids wakes up and tells Subaru's like, hey, one's missing, and then faints again. And so Subaru's naturally, because we've already seen he's very rash, he was like, I'm going to go find them because I can't actually do anything here. I did like that bit as well, where Rem's like, I'll stabilize them, and Subaru's like, I'm kind of useless here. I'll keep watch. It's like, oh, Subaru, you try. Just hang on.
Also on the rashness of Subaru, to be fair, at this point, I assume he believes it's only a puppy that's doing all of this.
Yes, there's to be fair, there's no reason, because we haven't actually seen anything leading up to this. there's no reason to believe that the fully sized hounds that he comes across later are there. We just assume the puppy's doing this. It's like, I can take on a puppy, right? And even though Rem's like being cautious to like grab Subaru, was like, well, where are you going? If you take too much on, you're probably going to get yourself killed. And I can't remember his reasoning for this one. No, I've got it somewhere in my notes. He's like, it's okay. My plan is, I'll go find her. I can take on a puppy. You deal with this until the villagers arrive. Then you come find me using the smell of the Witch of Envy, which shocks Rem because she's like, wait, you know about that? I have questions for you. And he's like, I know you do. We can talk about this afterwards. We can have a nice long chat if you want. She's like, I'll hold you to that. And I was like, nice little moment there.
I like these characters.
They all get along so well. They all what's the word? Chemistry. They all have good chemistry.
They do.
But yeah, so he goes off to find the girl, whilst Rem stays behind to stabilize them until the villagers arrive. He finds the girl quickly enough, and to be fair to him, he does go, it's like, this feels like a trap. But I can't just sit here and not do anything. So he goes out there to get the girl, and then the Hellhounds show up. I'm just going to call them Hellhounds. They're called Marbeasts, but I'm calling them Hellhounds.
Are these the only variant of Marbeasts, or are there more?
I have no idea, sir. I can't remember is the honest answer to that.
I'm just wondering, are these specifically Marbeasts, these things? Are they these ones, the specific hellhound-looking creature, are they Marbeasts? Or is Marbeast like the wider genus of hell creature?
Yeah, I don't know if Marbeast is referring to like anything created by the Witch of Envy or if it's literally just these dogs. So for now we're safe calling them Marbeasts, but I'm just going to call them Hellhounds because that's kind of what they are. They're just missing the flame spouting from them. So yeah, one appears and Subaru's like, shit. So to be fair, clever strategy he kind of has, which incorporates his raw strength as well. He takes his tuxedo jacket, wraps it around his arm, basically making it like, if you've seen videos about people training guard dogs, that's kind of what that is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about this whole fight. It's something I quite like about Subaru in general. Like, with his radio calisthenics or all this, it's like, he's taken what we know in the real world. Because that is how, if you're going up against a vicious dog, that's how you're meant to do it, not to get bit. You wrap the thing around your arm, and then you, like, get it to bite that, and then you kick it or whatever. I don't know the step after that. But it's like, seeing our, like, normal-ass bullshit in the real world being used against demons with curse bites in an alternate universe. I quite like his, like no nonsense hands-on approach to things.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome moment because he does that. The dog bites it, and then he uses his raw strength, which we've seen established previously. He lifts it up and tosses it onto a wooden spike. Technically it's just a branch because there's basically the girl was laid by a fallen tree, so he just tosses it onto the branch and it impales it and he kills it. And I'm like, yes, I've taken down one. And I'm like, good on you, Subaru. And then he turns around. It's like, oh, you're dead. Rem. Quickly.
Please. Boy does Rem turn up in a violent flurry of death.
So, we've kind of seen it previously, but only in the context of Rem interrogating / killing Subaru a few times. Rem's a badass.
Take on multiple foes at once in a whirling dervish of death and destiny.
It's a glorious display of just raw strength / technique with there's no other way of putting it, spike ball on chain. And yeah, she basically dives in, scares off a few of them, but they're all still hanging around. They're like, we need to run, don't we? Yes. Okay, let's run. So they start running by. Rem's battling them as they go. Meanwhile, Subaru's carrying the child back to the village. And as they approach the village, we see Rem's all beat up because while she is being a badass, she's still getting hurt along the way. And it's like, fuck. And then we cut to the Hellhounds, and we see like the puppy one seems to be like their commander or something because we see like the puppy use magic and cause a landslide.
It has glowing eyes and everything. This puppy is not your average Hellhound, apparently.
Not gonna lie, I kind of looked at that puppy and I went, "Fuck you, dog. You're the mastermind of these things." It's like, I don't have attachment to you, puppy, but still, I feel like I've been betrayed. Fuck you. So yeah, it causes a landslide, and Rem like pushes Subaru out the way, and she gets fucking lodged by this landslide, and Subaru's naturally like, Rem! And then we see her become even more powerful. Well, not necessarily even more powerful. She kind of goes demonic, is one way to put it. She kind of goes into like a berserk mode.
Her Satan powers activate.
She has like a horn magically starts glowing and appears on her head, and then she starts like her personality kind of changes, but she just starts like maniacally laughing and killing everything. And then just as she's about to go for like the puppy, some dogs ambush her from the side, which she doesn't see, and Subaru pushes her out the way and gets mauled by these things. And we end off this episode with Rem quickly bashing them off, having been snapped back to her normal self by Subaru's push, and shouting, "Subaru, please don't die." And I'm sat here going, please don't die. If we have to do this again. I don't think he's going to die, but I'm just like, please, no. I'm with Rem here.
It looked very it looked like an actual pack of dogs ripping someone apart when they were like biting him. I was like, that is horrifying as someone who is wary of dogs.
Plus, that's like,
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I thought that as well. This is going from someone who loves dogs. I was looking, I was like, oh. And keeping in mind as well, all of those are going to be cursed bites. How long does he have? He got mauled by about 4 dogs at once. That's 4 curses applied to him at once, plus the actual injuries from being mauled.
I do have a kind of answer to that due to me reading the description of the next episode, as I do after every episode.
Oh, let's not do that, because it is technically slight spoilers, so we won't go into that. But yeah, that's where we leave this episode off. And so, what did we think of it, Chris?
It was a fun episode. I liked this episode. Full of nice human moments and the aforementioned character chemistry, and also surprisingly fluid action when it came down to fighting 1,000 hell beasts.
And not much bullshit. I feel like they keep using stuff that they've established, / like Chris said before, like using just like our real world stuff and applying it to Subaru, being like, what would we do in this situation? I guess that's what you do. Okay. And we get some nice little lore explanations as well. Like, I enjoyed learning about what magic is in this world, how it's used, learning a bit more about the Witch of Envy and their origins. So apparently, I don't know, it's not something you hear often. I like the idea of a witch, because we hear witch and we're like, oh, okay, witches, wizards, they'll be plentiful in the world of magic, right? It's like, no, there's only 7. There was only 7. Now there's only 1. They represented the sins, and they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I like it. It's kind of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I guess I'm more. I like it when there's multiple witches and wizards. I don't know, witch and wizard. Like, if you said sorcerer or something like that, or like evil spirit, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, those are rare. When you say witch or wizard, my brain's always like, there should be like loads of them. It kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings. Like, Gandalf's a wizard. I'm like, oh, there must be plenty of wizards. No, there's only 5 wizards, and they're ancient immortal deities. I'm like, okay. Should have called them something that's not wizard then, because in my head I get an image when I say wizard.
When you grow up in a world with the Harry Potter films and books and settings similar to that, or other general fantasy settings, you picture wizards and witches being plentiful. Like, even in, like, say one of my favorite game franchises. I know this won't mean much to you, Chris, but Dragon Age. It's like magic is looked upon very poorly in that world, but there's still a shit ton of mages. No, yeah. I mean, these 2 episodes, very, very good for all the reasons Krishna has already stated. I mean, and as you'll have been able to tell listening to us, we've basically just been complimenting it the whole time. It's always nice to end on this show. It's usually a high note, apart from last week, where it was depressing along with Toilet Bound.
Depressing, but good.
Oh yeah, still good quality, just depressing.
We start on a high, we end on a high, and we just don't need to think too much about the dip in the middle of the show.
All right, and okay, so the only other thing then would be final rankings overall for these shows. I feel like ours are going to be the same as per usual, so go on, Krishna. What worst to best?
Well, No Guns Life. It's the worst. It's not the worst show ever. It's a bad show.
Same for me.
Darwin's Game's up next because it's Darwin's Game. It's better than it's okay. It's better than No Guns Life.
It is meh with a slight positive.
Yeah. Next up is Toilet Bound. Unfortunate victim of the current world pandemic for me, and that it just felt slightly off watching the show this week. But then again, I doubt even if it was firing on all cylinders, it would have beat ReZero this week, which was, as fun as it's ever been.
Yeah, it was kind of just spot on this week. Plus, it wasn't depressing as well, so that gives it even more points. I mean, depressing is not a negative. It's just, it feels better when you feel good about it. And I like the uncertain end that we've left on, where it's like, I mean, like I said, I know you've read next week's description, but I tend to avoid those because I I don't like reading them because sometimes some shows will just outright spoil the whole episode. I'm like, no.
I have an evolving relationship with spoilers. Like, spoilers tend to make me want to watch something a bit more, depending on the level of spoiler, and depending on the light in which the spoiler is revealed to me. So, like, if someone says, "Oh, in the next episode of the Clone Wars, you get to meet this character," I'm like, "Oh, cool, I want to watch that." Whereas, I don't know, me and spoiler culture, that's how I engage with spoiler culture. So, if someone spoils something for me, it's never really like a, you bastard, you've ruined my enjoyment of the show. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll watch that then.
It depends for me. It depends on how much I'm already enjoying the show. Generally, if a show's about to come out, or a show, film, whatever, and I want to go see it, but I don't know too much about it, I'll try to go in blank. I'll watch a few trailers, but that's about it. And this probably just comes from my habit of... I've been very lucky throughout my life, and I'm very good at avoiding spoilers, probably because I don't use that much social media. So usually, it's very easy to avoid spoilers when you're not using social media, apart from the odd YouTube spoiler where someone will be a dick and put a thumbnail and a title for a video, which is just blatant spoilers, and I'm like, God damn it, I just should have scrolled past that. But no, it depends on how much I like the thing, or I think I'm going to like the thing, as to whether or not I'm okay with spoilers. If I don't like a thing, I'll happily have spoilers. I won't give a shit. You could spoil the ending of No Gun's life for me right now, and I would not care. ReZero, it's like, hold off. I'll want to explore it as I go with characters. Oh. But right, okay, so the list has ended up the usual way this week. Well, technically not the usual way, because Toilet Bound used to be on the top of Chris's. It's only the last 2 weeks it's not been. And yeah, so with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, you've managed to, if you've got to this point, you've possibly managed to stick with us for 2.5 hours. Well done. I hope you finished whatever you were doing.
You might be insane. This might be a good, you might take this to your doctor and say, guys, I've listened to 2.5 hours of this podcast. Something is wrong with me. Fix me.
I mean, you might be insane, and then the doctor will go, yes, everyone is at the moment. There's a pandemic going on, don't you know? Everyone's going insane, fucking quarantined. But yes, so thank you very much for listening. If you have, or if you've only just skipped a certain timestamps to listen to certain episodes, we're still happy that you've done that as well, and we hope you've enjoyed our commentary. Let us know what you think of these shows below. For Darwin's Game and No Gun's Life in particular, if you are huge mega fans of these shows, please tell us why. I want to know why, because I don't want to feel meh about them with a slight negative on No Gun's Life, but again, it's just not doing it for us, and I feel like I'm missing something. I just don't get it. I feel like if you like these shows, you have no taste. Come on, come at me. Come at me in the comments. Don't do it, Chris. We pissed off the Code Geass boys before. Even though we liked Code Geass.
Let's hope they know I'm being facetious this time round.
I don't get it. I'm pretty sure we stated several times we liked Code Geass. It just made no fucking sense.
I liked Code Geass. And in fact, I might rewatch the show at some point, because he was enjoyable, and I enjoyed... It's just, I felt like every plan he had relied almost purely on luck. And that's pretty much the main crux of the issue that people had with me, is that every plan he had felt like he was just off the cuff, going through it on luck, and they were like, no, he's a genius. I was like, no, he's a bit silly in the head. And then everyone was like, no, he is a genius, Chris. I'm like, okay.
Stop hating the show. We don't hate the show. It's just a bit bonkers. It's anime. This is expected.
I understand that you've watched the show, you think it's perfect, and you think every plot point that they have is incredibly well thought out. I just thought all his plans were a bit stupid. That's all I thought.
Also, a lot of their arguments hitched on the fact that, because we had a lot of complaints for the finale, and people were like, it's a 50-episode season, they just split it into 2, because they had to this time, due to production times and stuff. I'm like, I don't care. We're in the UK, we only have access to Season 1. If we ever get access to Season 2, Chris, I'll definitely be rewatching Season 1, because I won't remember anything about the show. Because we definitely have to cover Season 2 on the Anime Talk Show, if we ever get to it.
Yes, we do. Just need to mentally prepare myself for that.
But unfortunately, it's not on Crunchyroll, it's not on Funimation, and it's not on Netflix, and I don't have a VPN or anything like that. I know there's lots of them stuff. I could probably easily get access to it, but I'm not going actively looking for it. I'm just waiting for it to eventually appear again. But yes, okay, so yes. If you've stuck around this long, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed, and we shall see you next week. This episode will be coming out a week late because it should have been up like an hour ago today, but our recording schedule this week has been all over the place and non-existent. So hopefully next week things will be back to normal. So yeah, we should see you again next week, Friday at 6 o'clock, hopefully. Mata raishu, minasan.
Sayonara, Tamagotchi.
You pretty much got it.
Every time I want to say Tamagotchi.